Now, I would be sort of surprised if Tannehill got in the game. If he hadn't gotten in the game, thus far, I can't see them risking it to put him in that, last game of the preseason. How they handle preseason this last game with the quarterbacks, I'm not sure. If Will Levis is ready and to go, which it seems like he is, I think they'll stick with the script. Levis may get more of the play, but I think they will sort of keep it the way they've had it, which is, I think is the best thing. Again, in this league, when you get injured and you come back, they're not giving you extra reps to say, hey, listen, I know you've been off. I know, the guy in front of you, he's had a lot more reps. We're going to, take his reps away and give them to you. No, the league is, hey, listen, either you're available for us or you're not. And when you're available, then we're going to play you. We're going to keep the same sort of flow that we were going with before you got injured, while you went injured, and now that you're coming back. We're not going to make this special concession for you and allow you to play the whole game or half the game and take away an opportunity. It's not Malik Willis's fault that you got injured, and it's not really your fault. It just happened. And it doesn't seem like Vrabel, he has a history of doing things like that. Making sure, since a guy's been injured, throwing him in there for, extra plays, taking away from a guy that's still trying to make the roster. You got to understand, both of these guys are still trying to make, not necessarily the roster, but they're still trying to give a good impression and stake a claim for that number 2 quarterback. So I'm not, as a head coach, I'm not going to, just because you've been injured, I'm not going to all of a sudden say, you know what, you go in, Malik Willis, you sit on the bench for a while and let Levis play. I think ultimately Levis will get more of the playing time, but it's not going to be this, I'm going to give you more and take away his opportunities because you were injured.
Here's what Jim Wyatt wrote, and Jim was on with Joe and Junie not long ago, so we'll play you his answer. But he does say Mike Vrabel opened the door to the possibility of Ryan Tannehill getting a series or two. And he said, the hunch here is we'll see it happen. So I pay attention when Jim writes that.
When it's on company letterhead on the Tennessee Titans website.
Exactly. So
it means something.
Jim may have come up with some info here. After that, Malik Willis figures to get even more work after starting the first 2 games of the preseason. We knew that. While it would be great for Will Levis to get some snaps, does it really make sense if he's not completely healthy? So that is, and let's hear a little more of what Jim said. Pay attention to what he says about Levis. It sounds to me like he doesn't think Levis is going to play.
Get some reps with the first-team offensive line and guys like Tajay Spears, like Malik Willis has in a few previous games.
I don't think he'll get reps with the first group, and I'm not so sure he even plays, to be honest with you. I mean, he missed last week. He left practice early on Thursday. He's very limited in what he did this week. So it's not. I think I would be more surprised to see him getting reps with the first team than I would him sitting out one more game to give him more time to heal. So I'm expecting to see a lot of Malik Willis tonight, and then kind of see what happens from there. And Malik Willis has had 2 starts this offseason, or this preseason, I should say. Expecting again for him to play, bulk of the game tonight. They would have given him a great chance to really make a strong case for himself this offseason, going into the year to be the 2. And the question will be whether or not he did enough to earn that spot. I mean, I do feel like, the conversation has changed here over the last couple of months, and whether they keep 3 quarterbacks, I think they will. But the question now is going to become who's the 2 on game days, and we'll see. So, in a perfect world, Will Levis would have been healthy all the way through the preseason. He would have played a lot last week. Probably would have started last week if I had to guess. because that's the way Mike Vrabel's kind of done things in the past. Let one guy start 1 week, the other guy start the next. So, but that didn't work out, and now on a shorter week and him coming off being a little dinged, I don't know that this is a great scenario to put him in and let him go.
Whoa. Okay, so Jim Wyatt said there he'd be more surprised to see Will Levis take snaps with the first team than if he just sat out the game entirely.
He's really hinting that you may not see him out there at all.
I don't even know if he's hinting. I think he might be telling us.
Sounds like he's out. That he's not 100%. And what his point is a good one. If they think he's not going to be with the starters, he's not 100%.
Why put him
don't
out
put
there?
him out there with the backups and have him struggle. That's not good for him long term. There's some logic to that, especially if you're going to play Tannehill for a couple series and then you can have Willis, in theory, play the rest of the game. And then, of course, you got Mason Kinsey if you need it.
Always have Mason Kinsey if you
in the
need
back,
him.
yeah.
But that's interesting because I would agree that if he's not 100%, you're not going to throw him out there and injure it, even worse than it is now and risk it just for the sake of getting reps and getting experience. But I want to know what's going on with him.
Yeah.
I mean, if he misses 2 games in a row, 2 weeks in a row, can we get a little bit more insight as to what's been going
wrong
on?
with him? Yeah. Have they said specifically what's wrong? Like
I saw
hamstring, quad, what?
Paul Koharski put out, and it was a weird. I'm gonna pull it up so I can.
That was
I don't
last
wanna read
week
it
he
wrong.
put it out, right? I think it was last week where he said it looked
saw
like a quad or
a quad. Yes, but it was not an official. It was sort of reporting what somebody else had. But let me read it because I want to get it right. And I just saw this circulate the other day. Liam Cohen, of course, his former coach, right, at Kentucky.
His former OC, yeah.
Said at a recent press conference that Will Levis told him. So this is hearsay.
Yeah.
But for what it's worth, he said it at a press conference that he hurt his quad. So that was the lower body injury. So
okay, as a quarterback, how do you hurt? Has he been running a lot?
I guess, or lifting.
I mean, his legs look like tree trunks, and maybe that's maybe he needs to this season heading into next season resculpt his body because the dude looks like a fullback. And maybe because it's as a quarterback, hurting your quad, that's something you never really see a quarterback do unless he's been hit in his quad. You don't see a quarterback hurting his quad just standing in the pocket and throwing. And he hasn't been running in practice, not to the point where you can pull something. So my thing is, why is this happening?
Well, I think the other question, too, is if Levis can't go, which it sounds based off of Jim Wyatt's writing and what he had to say on with us with the Chase McCabe show, it sounds like he's not going to play. So then that adds even more questions to how the Titans approach the quarterback position tonight. Is it the Malik show for the second week in a row? Are we going to see more from Ryan Tannehill? Is this going to force the Titans to have to look into the quarterback market? Mike Vrabel said he doesn't expect that to happen. I don't think it would either.
But we spent a good chunk of our show yesterday. You asked the question, who is the backup? And you don't really have a choice.
If Levis can't play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that going to change? You got a fair amount of time between tonight and the actual time you take
it's
the
like
field.
2 weeks almost.
Sure. So a lot of things can happen. But what a huge opportunity for Malik Willis to stand, to establish some turf and at least go into the season as the backup. No, not a lot of people would have bet on that in May, right?
I wouldn't have.
No.
I don't think I
wouldn't
even
have.
would have bet him being on the team. But let's continue the conversation coming up next because Malik Willis could more than likely get the second opportunity to take over the backup quarterback position, to really claim it, to really run with it. What do we want to see from Malik Willis tonight? Plus, if Will Levis can't go, which when I stepped in the building today, I thought I would assume that he would have been able to go. It sounds like per Jim Wyatt that he's not going to be able to go. Does this create more urgency for Ryan Tannehill to play tonight? We'll get into that coming up next. And, of course, your thoughts as well. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase is brought to you by Zen Sports. Start earning cash rewards on your bets today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee to bet.
All the big plays.
Henry, touchdown, Tennessee!
All the big stories.
I fully expected DeAndre Hopkins wanting a one-year deal.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Touchdown, Tennessee!
You're going to make a trade like this.
Does he want to retire a Tennessee Titan?
The door's on the board.
Such superstar players.
The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's time to celebrate this fall and unleash the beast. Monster Brewing proudly presents to you Beast Unleashed. 0 caffeine, 0 sugar, all the adult beverage fun. The Beast is unleashed with great taste, bold familiar flavors, and 6% alcohol. Go wild with Mean Green, White Haze, Peach Perfect, and Scary Berries. Don't fear the Beast. Enjoy Beast Unleashed at your next tailgate or football party. Drink responsibly. Must be 21 and over.
Hey, we're going to have another great Take It to the Bank segment. Lots of opportunities on the day of a Titans preseason game for Take It to the Banks. I've had mixed results at best, much worse than my colleagues in this, so I've got to catch up. But it's brought to you by F&M Bank every Friday at 1:45. They've got so many things going on. Banking made easy on purpose. What they're really wanting to get across to all of you listening is, banking sometimes – you don't put a face, you don't put people with your bankers a lot of times, but they want to really break through that. They're all about community. They're all about personal service. They want to make your banking easy. That is their goal every day. So visit online at myfmbank.com and find the one of the nearest locations to you. They got 20 in our Middle Tennessee and Kentucky listening area. So there's going to be one near you. And they're usually right in the heart of town. Mount Juliet, Murfreesboro, West End Avenue in downtown Nashville, downtown Franklin, just to name a few. They've got a lot of great tools. No matter where you are in your life, what you've got going on, they've got tools for you to simplify your banking needs. And we're going to continue to learn about those over the coming weeks. Great stuff. F&M Bank, banking made easy on purpose. Member FDIC. We take it to the bank at 1:45. Remember, go to the website, myfmbank.com.
Hey, Tennessee! We're Zen Sports, the new sportsbook in town. We listen to your feedback on our competitors, so we designed Zen Sports just the way you wish. Set favorites, search and sort bets, and earn real cash rewards, saving you time and money with every bet you make. Find the bets you want, not those distracting bets that seem too good to be true but rarely are. Best of all, withdraw your winnings in under 24 hours. So take control of your bets, because with Zen Sports, betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up and in Tennessee to bet.
City Winery Nashville presents Paula Poundstone live in concert on Friday, August 25th at 7 p.m. Iconic comedian Paula Poundstone is known for her smart, observational humor and legendary spontaneous wit. Paula is the star of several HBO specials, including Cats, Cops and Stuff, and Paula Poundstone Goes to Harvard. Paula is a regular panelist on NPR's comedy news quiz, Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. She's heard weekly on her successful comedy podcast, Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone. Don't miss Paula Poundstone and get your tickets at citywinery.com.
We try to stay cool by being on social media.
I'm with it. I'm hip.
Follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game and on Instagram at 1025 The Game Nashville.
Hey!
Oh, yeah, and like us on Facebook, too. Having some fun in the midday.
Yeah, that's awesome!
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I think that you can't play scared because you could get hurt week one. And so whether it's Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, whether it's Tua, whether it's somebody far less established, I'm actually okay with guys playing in the preseason. And I understand the risk that comes with it, but I'll give you an example of why I think it matters. The Jets' offensive line has taken a ton of heat. Now, I think the offensive line is going to look drastically different when Zach Wilson is the quarterback in comparison to when Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback.
Right.
Aaron gets rid of the ball quicker. Aaron understands issues that you may have protection-wise and will play accordingly. And I think that matters. And so I think that matters for the group of 5 guys that's going to be playing in front of them. And so it's like, well, why would you play Aaron Rodgers? Your season's over if he gets hurt. I agree with that. But it is a team sport, and those 5 guys in front of him matter in where they are going into the season in terms of how they feel like they're playing, I think also matter.
There you go. That was ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on our show earlier this week. He said he's pro starting the starting quarterback in a preseason. And look, I agree. If it's just a couple of series, you can get in there and get acclimated, build the confidence. And yes, there's always a risk of getting injured. But it's, as Tim is essentially saying, the reward can outweigh the risk. Now, Jim White was on with Junie and Joe Dubin in for Chase McCabe today, and he alluded to, without saying as such, that Will Levis would not be playing tonight, that he's still dealing with an injury. Now, my inside sources, a.k.a. Instagram stories, told me that Will Levis's family is in Nashville this weekend, so I thought maybe that could be a good sign. They're coming to watch him play. But this is just in from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN that Titans quarterback Will Levis is not expected to play tonight against the Patriots per source, strengthening Malik Willis's chances to earn the number 2 job to start the season if he continues to show improvement. Malik Willis is the backup quarterback. If Will Levis can't go tonight, Malik Willis is the backup quarterback. And that's with an asterisk of, I think that can change at any moment in time. Yeah. Whenever Will Levis gets healthy and starts to eclipse Malik Willis, if he does do that this season. But Malik Willis is your starting quarterback. Your backup quarterback.
I would say it's his to lose. Like, I do think he has to play at a level that they feel comfortable that he is going to be able to go in there and do better than he did last year. I don't think anybody's expecting him to light the world on fire, and they hope they don't have to use any backup quarterback. But I do think he's got to continue to show that he's progressing. I mean, would you agree with that?
No, no, he does.
If he really struggles and you're like, man, he's really fighting it out there, it's in his head. If he regresses in this game, I'm not going to say put it all on what happens tonight or anything like that, because I do think right now what you're saying, Caroline, is probably it. But I do think he's got to continue to try to go. I want to see him go grab it and continue to show signs that he's moving in the right direction.
Well, it's going to be interesting because if Ryan Tannehill doesn't get any snaps, just say the Titans say, you know what, we don't need to put Ryan out there. We're going to couch him into the, regular season starts in 2 weeks. The interesting part is going to be, well, what does New England do? Because you got to remember, New England has a top defense. They have one of the top 10 defenses in the National Football League. And it will be a good test for Malik Willis. What is he going to see? We know how Bill Belichick is, especially with rookie and second-year quarterbacks. He can make them look really, really bad. So if Ryan Tannehill doesn't play, Malik Willis plays all the whole game, what is Bill Belichick doing with his defensive starters? Is he playing his defensive starters? Or if the defensive starters are out there, Ryan Tannehill, he gets a series. He comes out. Does that first-team defense comes out as well, meaning for the New England Patriots? Because it will be going against that defense, it will be tough for Malik Willis. Hell, it would have been tough for Levis. Yeah. So I would love to see how he would do against that frontline defense, even if it's for a couple of snaps, before they leave.
Wasn't it the first game? Was it against
And he made him look
Houston
bad. Yeah, he made
against the
Stroud
rookie
look
Stroud.
bad.
Yeah, and they got Stroud out of there pretty quick.
Pretty quick,
because they had trouble protecting him. He struggled, and so I'm going to continue to go with. He called it a hunch. When Jim writes that, I think he probably has some pretty good direction that they're leaning towards letting Tannehill play a couple series. But I still agree with you. I think the offensive line, I'd like to say, I'd like to see in there. This is a good test. Let's see where they are, and let's see what Willis looks like with that line against a good defense.
And
That's it's a good benchmark. You got to find out if the guy can play. You got to find out this is a test to see where you are.
And this is an opportunity. Hey, we brought in competition for you, and now you don't have that competition. So now this is your opportunity to seize, and you can do that. You can take that opportunity. But I do hate this for Will Levis. I thought he made some good progress. I thought he started to look good. I hate that for him personally, for his development, and for Malik's development as well. Not having that competition in the room, at least for now, as long as Will Levis is out. So I do hate that for Will Levis, that he won't get the true preseason opportunity that we all expected him to get. But Malik, it's on you.
Yeah.
It's all you now. What are you going to do with the opportunity? I'm excited to watch Malik tonight, and I'm hoping that we can see an even more polished Malik this week than we saw last week, now that this is his second go at a full game. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get into your thoughts on that, your reaction. Again, this reported from Jeremy Fowler that Will Levis is not expected to play tonight against the Patriots. It'll likely be the Malik Willis show for the second week in a row. But what else do we want to look for tonight? Who else is this game important for before we get to roster cutdown day on Tuesday? We'll get into that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
He breaks down every game.
The players are still going to be fine.
And knows the ins and outs of the two-tone blue.
They deal with their own position coaches.
He is ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Turon Davenport.
It's clear what he's doing.
TD joins every Monday at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast.
I think that's really cool how he could show both sides.
TD is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Attention all fire and safety line experts. Middle Tennessee's fastest growing fire protection company is looking for experienced service technicians, designers, and sprinkler system experts like you. Tired of working for a large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett Fire Protection is owned and operated by Nashville natives and wants to invite you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced sprinkler experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we will also provide you with the top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to jarrettfire.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT fire.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
If you compare a diamond from Genesis Diamonds to one you find somewhere else, one thing will always stand out. The Genesis diamond is, well, prettier and more brilliant.
We will show you why our diamond's light performance is significantly greater than things you can get elsewhere.
Genesis Diamonds Vice President David Cooper.
Not just because of the color and the clarity, but because of things a certificate can't tell you. Because of the characteristics, the personality, the material.
It's the extra step in quality control that comes from an owner obsessed with perfection.
Our owner is incredibly picky when he buys diamonds, searching through hundreds just to get a handful. You will not see diamonds that have the fire at your average mall store or chain store or smaller independent because they don't have the access worldwide like Genesis Diamonds does. Our diamond's light performance, character, and explosive brilliance is bar none the best your money can buy.
Don't compromise with a diamond that just looks good on paper. Get a diamond that reflects your love in the best light possible.
This diamond has to be spectacular.
Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, it's Jared. Want to tell you about Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Hiller is keeping you chilling all summer with special deals to keep you relaxed and happy this summer. Tackle those necessary home system replacements this month to take advantage of these special deals. When you purchase a select new HVAC system, you'll get 2 Yeti Trailhead camping chairs, a Yeti Panga 28L waterproof backpack, a Yeti Tundra 75, and 2 Yeti tumblers for free. And get special freebies on Yeti products with every new whole home generator or tankless water heater purchase. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Calling all Nashville Sounds baseball fans. You know that 312 Pizza Company in Germantown is the best place to be before or after a Sounds game, but this season, it gets even better. Stop by 312 Pizza Company before or after any Nashville Sounds home game with your day of ticket and get a free old-style beer. That's right, you get a free old-style beer from 312 Pizza just for watching Sounds baseball, only redeemable with purchase. See you at 312 Pizza Company all baseball season long. 312 Pizza Company, a proud sponsor of your Nashville Sounds.
Nashville Sounds baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike three.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, this is Pete Weber. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
I've seen a lot of snaps and reps from these guys in practice and the game over the last month or so. Like, how much more over the next 3 days could they do to move the needle?
I mean, certainly the game is important. We'll practice tomorrow. Game's important. You really start to see, I think, the special teams is what we've talked about a lot with the games. You can only recreate so much out here. So the special teams and the ability to tackle some of those things that the game is critical. So I think you can see a lot.
That was Mike Vrabel earlier this week at the podium. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase. Hey, pro golf is coming to Nashville this September 14th through 17th with the Simmons Bank Open at the Grove Club. Text the keyword CADDIE, CADDIE, now to 615-737-1025 and enter to win a weekend pass for 4 to enjoy the event in style, including food and drink. Again, the news of the day, this just coming out from Jeremy Fowler. Will Levis not expected to play tonight against the Patriots. That quad injury still giving him some fits, but Jim Wyatt broke down the 6 things to watch for in the Tennessee Titans preseason game tonight. And in the quarterback section, he writes, Titans coach Mike Vrabel opened the door to the possibility of starting quarterback Ryan Tannehill getting a series or 2 in the preseason finale. And the hunch here is we'll see it happen. I think that's the biggest wink, wink, nudge, nudge from Jim Wyatt is I got a hunch from inside the building. It's just a feeling. I don't know. Maybe just my instinct here telling me we'll see Ryan Tannehill tonight. I'm glad that we will see Ryan Tannehill tonight. I know that there is fear and concern of what if you put your starting quarterback out there in a game that doesn't matter? What if he gets hurt and then the season is over? I get it. I understand that. But I think, the new offensive line, new pass catchers, and I don't know if that means if we'll see DeAndre Hopkins and Derrick Henry out there with Ryan Tannehill. I'd like to see DeAndre Hopkins out there if Ryan Tannehill is going to be playing in those first couple of series. But the idea of a jumbled up offensive line, new pass catchers, new offensive coordinators, combined with the fact that Ryan Tannehill didn't get the action that we expected him to get this past week with the Patriots joint practices, I think that this is a good thing. It's only a couple of series. He can get in there. He can shake off some rust. He can get some real in-game reps because there's no way to recreate real in-game experience. So take the opportunity when you can get it. Get in there for a few snaps. Come out, get your hat on, and then cheer Malik on from the sidelines.
Yeah, if Ryan plays, then I truly believe D-Hop plays as well. You have to. You can't put him in there, and not have his starting wide receivers in there. We know Traylon's not playing, but if Ryan does go out there, you got to have D-Hop out there as well. I don't know if it's so much as knocking off rust. Hell, they've been practicing long enough. There shouldn't be any. But I just think it's
it's
just getting them in there to sort of see what it looks like. And they're probably hoping, well, New England, if they play their frontline defense, we can kind of get a look at some things that we can possibly do. We're not going to do anything that we're going to show in the first game. We may do some things that we've been working on, or do some vanilla things that, we know, like the back of our hand, quick slants, hitches, something really quick, get D-Hop the ball quickly, 2 or 3 plays, and then get on out of there. I envision that's how it will go if indeed Ryan Tannehill does play. So, if he doesn't, he doesn't. it wouldn't be a huge surprise to me. If he does, then obviously there's something that they want to see with that first team. I guess it's more so we want to see the 5 offensive linemen, at this time, our number 1 receiver, our number 1 tight end. Derek's not going to be out there, so we get our number 2 back, he's still a damn good back in Spears. And then let's see how it looks for the first couple of plays with a stout defense in New England. That's if New England plays their frontline guys, because they played them, some in both of the preseason games.
I'm trying to read again between the lines what Jim might know. And he says, the quote is, I don't need to see Derrick Henry or DeAndre Hopkins. So he kind of implies that DeAndre Hopkins might be in the more of the Derrick Henry category of they don't need to play.
We're good.
That's what I'm reading from Jim. I don't know if that's going to be, but I am curious if it is, quote, the starting offense, let's say without Derrick Henry, or even if it's without Hopkins. I am very curious where the receivers line up, who they use, knowing that they don't have Burks. They may not have Burks for the first game or two.
Right.
So who plays in what role? Where are they lined up? I think that's worth looking for, and to see if they want to try to get the ball to Chig, or design a play or two to get the ball to Nick Westbrook-Akine, or whoever it is that they want to take a good look at. I'm curious about that. Because like you said, you're playing the Patriots. This is a good opportunity to have a little litmus test.
Yeah, I think if D-Hop is playing, I think they're going to try to get the ball to him very quickly, once or twice in a series, and then get him out of there. Just get him catching the football in the game with Ryan Tannehill. Boom, boom, boom. All right, enough seen. Let's get them both off. Malik Willis, you come in. Offensive line, you stay in for, maybe another 2 series. I don't know. But just to have Ryan, because my thing is, it doesn't make sense to put Ryan out there but not have D-Hop out there. It doesn't make much sense to me.
I still want to see Ryan out there regardless of who's out there, but I'm with you that it would make more sense to me to see as much of this starting unit as possible, to give Ryan the same targets he's going to be throwing to week 1 in New Orleans.
Yeah, or they could be.
But
they could be scared because look at the depth at the wide receiver room.
Yeah, I mean that is true. You could wrap D-Hop in bubble wrap and say we're gonna carry you in a satin bassinet to New Orleans to make sure that there's nothing that goes wrong with you, because we lose you and we are screwed. Capital S screwed. But I do expect to see a good bit of what I call the non-veteran varsity players like Chig, Chris Moore. I know he's been around the league, but still new to this team and new to this offense. So I wouldn't be surprised to see those guys play.
It also sounds like we're going to see Harold Landry for the first time. All signs are pointing that he will play. Mike Vrabel he hinted at it very early in the week. They've had him in front of the media this week. Jim wrote it. I think we're going to see him. So, what would you look for, Derek? He doesn't necessarily have to sack the quarterback, but we want to see how he's moving, right? We want to see how he's
lined
active,
up, and if he can get that initial push, once he engaged with the offensive lineman, because again, you're playing against someone else. You're not playing against your teammates. Your teammates may, because they understand where, that you missed the season because of an injury. So they're not really trying to mush you in the ground, so to speak. But New England's not thinking that. So I want to see, how does he come off the ball? Once he engaged, does he still have that lower body strength to sort of explode through? How is he working off of stunts and stuff like that to try to get inside after another guy comes outside of him? So I want to see necessarily those things. I don't think he forgot how to tackle, so our tackling should be fine. I just want to see his engagement with the offensive line. How is he then, disengaging from the offensive lineman? That's what I want to see.
And it makes sense to me for Harold Landry to play. He hasn't seen actual in-game play since that Bengals game, the divisional round game in the 2021 season. And that's something that Mike Vrabel alluded to, was you can't tackle in practice like you can in a game. So just get in there and actually hit somebody for the first time in a long time. So that makes sense to me for Harold Landry to play, even though it might be much to his dismay, because we heard him when he was at the podium on Tuesday, that day that you were out, Willie, and he was like, yeah, if Vrabel wants me to play, then yeah, of course I'll play.
If it was up to Harold Landry, he probably wouldn't. Yeah, he would just wait until the season.
But I wonder, why play Tannehill now? I mean, Tannehill hasn't played in a preseason game since 2019. Like you're now 4 offensive coordinators removed from that. Matt LaFleur, Arthur, Todd Downing, now Tim Kelly. So this isn't the first offensive coordinator shift since then. And Tannehill hasn't played in a preseason game since that season. So why now?
Well, they've gotten off to poor starts the last couple of years. They've lost the opener. Might be time to try something new. I see a lot of teams playing at least the starting quarterback in the third game.
Veteran
in the third
starting
game.
quarterbacks.
Yeah, so it may be just trending that. You don't play for, like you said, Derek, it's almost 2 weeks until you actually play a game. So maybe this is what a lot of people are now theorizing is the best time to get the work in. Like it used to be. What game did you guys play as sort of the dress rehearsal? It wasn't the last
third
game.
It was
the third game. So now the third game is now the new third game.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have the fourth
old game. The old third game is now the new third game, but you don't have the fourth game.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's some logic there.
Yeah, there is.
If you get dinged up a little bit, at least you got to. It's like
Another
you have a whole
week.
bye week. So
hell,
obviously,
you got what? 2 weeks? Do they?
Yeah.
They don't play next weekend.
They don't play
The
next
next
weekend,
following
they play the
weekend.
following
Yeah.
weekend.
So 2 Sundays from. Well, it'd be 2
Sundays
Saturdays
from this
from.
You got over 2
the
weeks,
Sunday,
really.
Yeah, so it's
Right.
really 2 weeks in a day, something like that.
do you think
2 days? Excuse me.
They obviously they came out really hot last year in the first half, but they lost the game, and the year before they lost the opening game. They haven't been a great starting team. Maybe that is a little bit of the thinking. I don't know.
It very well could be. And it makes total sense to me. I've wanted to see Ryan Tannehill play in the preseason, but I feel like it would have made sense last season to do it too. So I don't know if it's a Tannehill thing. I don't know if that's a new, Tim Kelly thing of, hey, let's just get them in there. I don't know what the difference is. I like it. And I do wonder, the third game. Why the third game?
Well, I think that's the closest, you can
Closest to
practice longer.
gameplay.
And I think maybe the fact that they didn't get the work in during the week with the Patriots
That
that they
probably
had scheduled,
adjusted
that might have
something.
factored in. But, yeah, they didn't win the opener last year. 2 years ago, they looked very poor
Rough.
in the first game. So
The Taylor
shake it
Lewan
up.
game, if you will.
Shake it up, yeah.
615-738.
And the Michael Badgley game. Hint, hint. There's another
Was that the Michael Badgley game
2 years ago, yeah.
against the Cardinals?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Here
was
we go
there.
again.
I was there. I'm not going to say that I booed, but I looked around. Oh, my gosh, they're booing the kicker. They're booing him.
Speaking of
Who
Michael
is-
Badgley,
Who is this guy?
when you boo the kicker, that's when you know you are down bad, when you start booing the kicker. But speaking of the kicker, we will see Michael Badgley tonight, and Willie has a theory or a new development on the kicking front. So we will get into that coming up next, and your thoughts as well. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Hey, tune in to 1025 and 1063 The Game tomorrow for the return of Vanderbilt football. The Commodores will kick off at 6:30 p.m. at home against Hawaii, with pregame beginning at 5 p.m. My first Vanderbilt game. Very excited about it. You can hear all the coverage on the 1025 The Game app and at thegamenashville.com.
Whether it's college football,
players might end up not going to Alabama or Georgia,
or the NFL,
I think that this team wins the AFC South.
Trevor knows. Join ESPN's Trevor Maddich every Tuesday at 4:30 on Stillman and Company as he gives his opinions on the latest from the gridiron.
I'm going to the team where I can get a ring.
Trevor Maddich brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, where experience matters, on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Happy Friday, men. Listen up, because I need to tell you about Cool Springs MD. Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances. And Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and his wife Daphne, along with that experienced and wonderful staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life. Cool Springs MD services have already helped many men of Brentwood, Nashville, including yours truly, and the surrounding areas in Tennessee with improving their immune systems, energy levels, cognitive functions, and more. They're there to connect you with the medical care you require to have a healthy and enriched life. So there's no better time now to achieve a healthy lifestyle. Men, what are you waiting for? Get Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment. Here's the number, if you don't already have it programmed, 615-486-3458. That's 615-486-3458. Or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
Don't miss a minute of football action while getting up close and personal to the future stars of the PGA Tour. Join Penn Entertainment on site at the Simmons Bank Open, promoting Penn Play and their sports online betting platform. Stop by their tent in the Arctic Tailgate Village during the tournament to learn more and have a chance to win some prizes and giveaways. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call Tennessee Redline 1-800-899-9789.
Get a great deal on select Kubota equipment, the #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience in the U.S. The versatile lineup is built to help you make the most of your land. Right now at participating dealers, get a Kubota compact tractor for 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months, plus save up to $800 on qualifying implements. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimer.
Visit Coleman Tractor, your local Kubota dealer in Clarksville, Nashville, Harris, and White House today. Thursday, August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day. STARS, Nashville's regional overdose prevention specialist, in collaboration with The Next Door, invite you to be the light. Come explore community resources like harm reduction programs and participate in overdose prevention and reversal training. Get involved, Nashville, August 31st from 1 to 3 at The Next Door, 402 22nd Avenue North. Go to starsnashville.org for more info. This project funded under a grant contract with the State of Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Sarah wants a yard. My own little paradise. Brad, however, hates yard work.
The only thing I hate more than cutting the grass is paying someone to cut the grass.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Sarah and Brad found a great home with a yard. A very, very small yard.
Time to get it done. And I'm done.
Bundling without compromise at geico.com.
Nashville's radio version of The Odd Couple.
You would trade for the third pick? Yeah, I don't know that I would do that.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode.
I'm here for the discussion. I'm not. It's a good one. It's absurd.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 9.
Win the games. When they get in the playoff, they'll have a chance to.
Presented by This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What was it about him on the tape that made you want to bring him in?
We'd had Michael here before, and he's got the next crack at it. I'm sure we'll look at other ones too.
That was Mike Vrabel on Michael Badgley.
Not a ringing endorsement.
Yeah, after first day of practice. Yeah, we'll probably bring in another kicker sometime here soon. Not what you want to hear. Yeah, your first day on the job for the second stint of this job at this place. But Willie, you texted us this morning that you have new developments, or at least new thoughts on the kicking position for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, it's more of me trying to go back and do a little homework and investigate what factors are out there. We when they did this, we were kicking around a lot of different things as to why they are where they are right now with the kicker. And after doing some homework, I think, and nobody from the team has told me this is straight up the answer, but I think you can deduce that it has almost everything to do with the salary of Randy Bullock, or a, quote, veteran kicker. Because of, you brought this up, Derek, the other day. The old rule that's been around for a long time, a vested veteran that is on the roster for week 1, his salary is guaranteed for the season, right? So that's where you have to weigh in. Who's really worth the extra money? For example, Randy Bullock was not the only veteran kicker that teams walked away from. We were talking about how many kickers can you name that have been with the same team for a long time? There's not as many as you might think. So Robbie Gould, kicked forever.
He's, 40 years old?
He's a free agent. Well, he's what is his age? Let's see.
Robbie's late 30s.
He's been around.
Yeah.
He's been around. Look, Nick, if you can, look up how old is Robbie Gould, the kicker. Mason Crosby, another guy that's been around forever. Released.
He may be the oldest, Mason Crosby.
So Robbie Gould released by the 49ers. Mason Crosby released by the Packers. The third one is, I just had it. Ryan Suckup. Old, reliable Ryan Suckup, 36 years old, released by the Bucs.
Hey, speaking of
so
Ryan,
they could get him back.
40.
40 is 40.
Robbie Gould is 40. Okay, so, but what do they all have in common? When you've kicked a long time, what happens? You start making more money. You're reliable. They pay you more. So during the offseason, a lot of times, and the Titans were in this position because Randy Bullock's contract, even though it's not like Randy Bullock has been in that category, those other 3 guys, but he's kicked a good long time, he was going to make well over $3 million against the cap with the contract he had. So they cut him. So it wasn't as much they didn't like what Bullock did, even though he's not perfect, right? As we mentioned, he wasn't perfect last year, but he missed 3 kicks the entire year. But this, I think, had a lot more to do with the salary. But let's now fast forward to where they are now. After week 1, you might still have your choice of Suckup, Bullock, Crosby, Gould. They're still all sitting there.
Plus several other kickers that are going to get released after training camp. There's going to be a new, refreshed pool of kicking.
Right. But you don't have to guarantee the salary after week 1.
Right.
Badgley is in that I don't think is nearly as expensive as those other guys. So he, in the meantime.
Is he a vested guy? How long has he been in the league?
He's kicked for 5 different teams, but it hasn't been for very long in any stop. So I don't think he's as expensive. I think, Nick, you put up, you found his
$1 million.
$1 million. So he gets a crack at it if he does really well tonight, and then maybe he gets a shot on opening day. If he does well, maybe they roll with it. I think the idea with Shudak and Folk, or was it Folk the other guy? What was the other guy's name? Wolf. Hey, maybe you find a guy that's really good. Those guys are super cheap. You give them a chance, and obviously they did not take advantage, so they had to try to do something else. But I kept asking the question, why did they just move? Why not just bring Bullock back? He wasn't that bad. But they might bring Bullock back. They had that option if they're sitting there after the first game still looking around for a kicker. Or Crosby, Gould, Suckup. Wouldn't it be interesting if Suckup came back?
Yeah.
My thought on that is, if it was about the money and they didn't want to guarantee the money after week 1, which I get it, why wouldn't you just roll with Shudak or Trey Wolf, who weren't vested veterans? I know that they left a lot to be desired. I understand that. But if you just have them kick week 1 just to get you past week 1, and then you can bring in a vested veteran guy so his salary isn't guaranteed, that would make sense to me. I mean, why bring in Michael Badgley, who is a vested veteran?
But is he, though? I'm guessing he may not be.
I think he may be.
But either way.
Was it
4 seasons or 4 years of accrued service?
Not a total 4 years.
Because it was pieces of seasons, right?
They changed. I think it used to be 3 years, 3 games. I think it may still be that. I don't think the new collective bargaining changed that. I know the players wouldn't have changed it. So I don't think it has to be a full 4 years. I think it may be 3 years, 3 games, somewhere around there.
And he's been in the league since 2018. So he's a vested veteran.
He wouldn't be a vested veteran until this season. 3 years, 3 games. What is it?
2018, 19, 20,
Okay,
21, 22.
Okay,
He's
yeah,
had
I'm thinking I'm counting it wrong.
5 years, yeah.
We'll see if we can find out officially because that's an important piece of info.
After 4 years.
After 4 years?
4 years. So he would be a vested veteran. So if you're concerned about the money, why bring in another vested veteran for this week? Why not just roll with a young and experienced, or a younger guy, even though you might not think that he is the guy? Then you can just pay him whatever just to get you past week one and bring in a veteran that you might want after week one.
Well, maybe Badgley would make so little that it's not that it's worth a little extra change. You know, instead of $3 million or $4 million, he's $1 million. So even if you had to eat that, maybe he jumps up and wins the job. It's an interesting question.
I mean, I don't.
Badgley
honestly,
is a vested veteran.
Yeah.
He is. Okay.
Why is this even a conversation, honestly? Because to me, you get what you pay for. And if you're penny pinching over kickers and you're a team that need a kick, like you are a team that plays close games. You're not, Cincinnati. You're not Kansas City. You're not the Chargers. You're not one of these high-powered teams like can score at a clip like that. You can just score. It doesn't matter. You are a team that play grinded out football. Yeah, you can put some points on the board against some teams, but more times than not, we are playing close games each and every week. And over the last couple of years, you have won those close games. To me, why are you penny pinching with a position that you know for you is a position of need?
But I don't think that they are.
If we're talking about vested veterans and they're not bringing this guy in because he's making this much money, Badgley, they cut him once. They bring him back. And it seems like Vrabel is like, hey, listen, he gets the next crack, and we're going to bring another one.
We'll go on
in.
to another one.
They didn't cut the two before him. It's like, damn it, settle on a kicker and let him kick.
But they did need the money, right? They wanted.
How did they need the money?
Because
Why?
they wanted to keep Byer. They wanted to keep
They
Henry.
didn't need that.
They wanted to go get DeAndre
We're
Hopkins.
giving them too many excuses. We're giving them excuses. This ain't about if they like.
But
like
somewhere
Jared,
you have to
like
make
Jared always
compromises in your
says.
cap.
If they wanted to keep the person, they would have kept him. Point blank, they would have found that extra $1 million or $2 somewhere to keep that kicker. Like Bullock, we go back to when I think.
But do you think Bullock did a nice job last year? I'm defending what Bullock did.
Yeah, and I'm saying they should have kept him.
He still paid too much though. I think for what
according
they're
to
getting.
who? Not for a team that needs a kicker and that plays close
I know,
games.
but you wanted D-Hop. You wanted to keep Byer. I mean, there is a priority list that somewhere in there you gotta make some. You gotta cut money somewhere.
I understand what you're saying, Willie. But if they need a kicker, you haven't had a kicker in a while. You keep on playing these musical chairs with kickers. Pay the money that you need to pay so you don't have to be in this situation. You can find an extra $1.5 million, $2 million. You ask Byer to take a pay cut. He took a pay cut. You ask some other guys to kind of, come back off your salary a little bit.
But the 49ers, the Buccaneers, and the Packers all did the same thing. They cut the veteran kickers to save a little money.
Might just not be very good.
What?
Their veteran kickers just might not be very good.
Well,
they might view
but
it
those
that
guys,
way.
Those guys have suck up. Gold and Mason Crosby have kicked for a long time. They were pretty reliable to last this long, right? I mean, maybe they're to the age where the range isn't as good.
And Bullock is reliable.
He does have limited range. Remember what Jonathan Hutton brought up?
And that's the problem.
That there was probably a little hesitancy to try a 55 or a 56-yarder. Here's another thing that was brought to my attention that I think is worth thinking about. In this day and age, so many more teams, and I think the Titans are in this now, the analytics, if it's 4th and 3 from the 35, instead of trying a 53-yarder, you go for it. Whereas back in the day, I was like, all right, let's just try the 53-yarder. But now it's like
Staley approach.
4th and 1, 4th and 2. We're going. But it's not just Brandon Staley. More and more teams every year decide to go for it in those situations than they used to. Fair to say? I mean, it's not even close. It's not even arguable.
Just because football has changed, I think they see it as, if you look at the numbers, it's a little bit easier to get a first down than it would to possibly kick this long field goal.
That's what's happening. Whereas before, they never would bring it up. If it was 4th and 1 up, you got to go for the field goal.
Again, unless you got a Tucker, a lot of teams are thinking, should we go for it on 4th and
maybe
1?
our chances are better. And I think when Bullock, who was not a guy that was going to drill it from 60, right? It's like, okay, our chances are better of getting this first down, 4th and 3, than it is to try a 53, 54-yarder, depending on the conditions, all that stuff.
Well, let's continue the conversation coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willy Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
It's time to let your voice be heard. Nashville is headed to a runoff in the mayoral race on Thursday, September 14th. Stand up and be counted. Cromwell Media reminds you to get out and vote for the future of our city.
94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Tonight, your Nashville Sounds continue their 6-game series at Gwinnett.
Gloves, grabs, guns, gets them, and the Sounds win again.
Pre-game at 5:50.
Nashville Sounds baseball on 94.9 The Fan and the Fan app.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
79-52 Vanderbilt.
And I think he's going to coach up by Cheryl.
You're going to see more moves.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Covering your teams and the news of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
Who is pleasant to listen to.
With Caroline Fenton, Willy Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
You are hands down my favorite radio personalities of all time.
On 102.5 and 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
With no further ado,
Caroline, Willy, D-Base, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app. We're live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Game Studios, and we are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every single day. Our video streaming is brought to you by Superbook. Download their app today and use promo code THEGAME. Ask D-Mase in 30 minutes. Get those questions in for D-Mase. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We're breaking down the kicking position. Willy, you brought up that you thought the Titans, the reason why they're kind of on this kicking carousel, at least as of late, is the money. That Randy Bullock is a vested veteran in the NFL, and they didn't want to bring him back because they didn't want to guarantee the money after week 1. I look at it and I think, like, hearing Mike Vrabel's frustration on Tuesday afternoon at training camp proves to me that he is just as tired of this as we are. We've been talking about this all week. We counted, 12, 13 kickers since 2019 that this team has gone through? Mm-hmm. 13 kickers in the last 4 years. Like, that is insane. It is unacceptable. And I think Mike Vrabel is just as tired of it as we are. That if they found a guy that they liked, that they trusted, that they felt that they could count on, I believe that the Titans would pay that kicker. I don't think the Titans are a cheap organization. They paid Jeffrey Simmons. They had the highest offer for DeAndre Hopkins between themselves and the Patriots. They pay their players well.
It's not about them being cheap. I never said
I don't think it's about being cheap.
I don't think the Titans are cheap. Each team prioritize a position, just like anything in life. You prioritize things, and everything is in an order. And whatever is at the top is the most important, and whatever is at the bottom is the least important. I just don't think, just like I thought about the receivers, some teams value receivers in regards to pay a lot different than what the Titans do. Some Titans value the running back different than a lot of teams do. I think the Titans value the kicker in regards to pay a lot different than maybe some other teams may. And they don't want to pay. They want to sort of get a bargain. I'm saying that loosely. They want to get a bargain for a guy that they hope, a young guy that they hope that they can keep for the next 8, 9, 10, 11 years where we don't have to keep going back. But sometimes that doesn't happen, and I think that's what they're looking for.
I just can't believe they're looking for a bargain.
But
I think they're looking for a reliable kicker.
Bargain kicker.
But the money does the two crisscross at some point. Let's take last year with the punting. Brett Kern was an expensive punter because he's one of the best to ever play. Like he was a great. I'll never forget in the broadcast of the victory in Foxborough, Tom Brady's last game as a Patriot. Bill Belichick was quoted. Tony Romo and Jim Nantz quoted Belichick. He said, "I think Brett Kern is their best player." And, of course, he had a great game in that game. It was a total field position game. You could argue Brett Kern might have been the difference in that game, or one of the big reasons they won that game, for sure. So they were paying him handsomely. But last year, it did come down to Kern's getting a little bit older. They owe him a lot of money for a punter. And then here's this kid that can boom it. Maybe long range. He's the guy. He's not perfect. Right, we mentioned his talent. He broke a record for distance, but there's still a lot of things that Brett Kern probably still today could do better than Ryan Stonehouse. But they went with Stonehouse. That was a choice, right? The salary cap does give you choices. Like you said, if you need it now, if you're like, I got to get it now, there's usually ways you can cram it into your current salary cap, but it has you dealing with something down the road, too. So I think they just, with Randy Bullock, yes, they thought he did a decent job last year, but it didn't add up to what they would owe him if they kept him.
So they cut him. They thought he did a decent job.
Well, he missed 3 kicks the whole year. But he's not the greatest kicker to ever play. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think because he was so bad last year is the reason. It was just he wasn't worth over $3 million, which is I think this is what they would have to pay him if they hadn't touched his contract.
Let's get your thoughts on it.
But I would not be totally shocked if he comes back after the whole vested veteran thing, if he's the guy. Or Ryan Suckup, who's sitting out there.
I would be surprised if Randy Bullock came back.
Speaking of Suckup, when you watch that
he was in Swamp Kick.
Yeah, Swamp Kick, and he missed the kick.
He did miss the kick.
He missed the kick.
The first one.
What goes around comes around. Let's get your thoughts on it. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Michael is in Madison with a thought on the kicker. What's up, Michael?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. So I asked this question to Jared a couple days ago about, and it basically turned into a discussion of how much is one win worth in dollar signs to an NFL team. Because you can make the argument that if we had a Robbie Gould or a Mason Crosby or someone like that last year, we absolutely would have won the Giants game, and we may have won the Chargers game. That's more of a toss-up because of how that ended. But for sure, if we had one of these good kickers, we definitely would have won that Giants game because it came down to a missed kick at the very end of the game.
Right, but
so
you're also assuming that these guys never miss kicks. The other guys, if you look at their stats, that's part of the reason why they got cut. High veteran salaries, done a lot in the league, but last year they weren't as good. So you can't just say, well, if they'd have had Robbie Gould would have made all the big kicks.
If they would have had a kicker that made a kick, whoever it might be, whether it's Robbie Gould or whether it's Derek Mason,
sure.
If they would have made that kick, that's
I get
the
it,
thing.
but some of those guys do miss kicks. Steven Gostkowski was a pretty good kicker for the Patriots.
Thanks for your comment,
won
Michael.
Super Bowls and missed a lot of kicks when he came to the Titans. Those guys do miss kicks. Boswell from the Steelers really had a rough year last year. He's been the Steelers kicker forever. So it's never something that you can say, because you have a veteran kicker, he's going to make every big kick.
No, you can't. I think.
But it's easy to say that when you're like, the grass is greener on the other side. Our guy just missed, so if we had their guy, he would have made it.
I can't say if they had Robbie Gould that they would have won the division. I can say that if they had a kicker that made those kicks, they would have won the division.
But you're asking perfection then, because he only missed 3 kicks the whole year. So if he was perfect, they would have won maybe 2 more games.
And they would have won the division and made the playoffs. And those are.
But you're asking for perfection.
Completely different story and completely different situation. Also, let's not forget,
no kicker was perfect.
The Titans' field goal attempts per game was the lowest in the NFL last year. say
They
part of
had a
that's
bad
on the
offense.
offense,
Yeah, it's bad
and you
offense.
can say that's part of the kicker. Because if I don't have faith in my kicker, I'm not sending my kicker out.
Okay.
Because the Titans didn't have the 32nd worst offense in the NFL.
Well,
But we
it was damn
mentioned-
near close.
It was bad.
From a pass
It
standpoint,
was
it's damn
bad,
near
but
close.
it wasn't 32nd.
But I'm not going to.
They just didn't send him out there.
I'm not
very
going
frequently.
to say now. There could have been a small part to that. Like, okay, where are we relative to what the kicker's distance is? Do we punt it and sort of decide, field position? What do we do? I don't think it may had a little to do with the kicker's range, but I think most of the times it's how the game's flowing. Is it a close game? Can we get away with playing field positions, rely on our defense, who is one of the better defenses in the National Football Leagues, back them up, force them to kick it. Now we get the ball starting on the 50, first down. That's better for me. Unless I got a Justin Tucker, that's the route I'm going. If I got to kick a 50, anything further than 52 yards, I'm thinking more so in that mind thought of field position.
Okay.
I don't want a chance at field position. My defense is good enough. We're going to back them down, and we're going to get the ball starting somewhere around midfield.
All right, let's put an example that happened. My crack staff went through some of the games because also let's remember, you got the ball at the 35. It's 3rd and 4. You're thinking ahead.
Yeah.
The ball is at let's say the 39-yard line, okay? What do you do on 3rd down? Do you think, okay, let's run it twice. I'm going to give it to Derrick Henry twice. We're going to get 4 yards. You can do that.
Yeah.
Like, you can be thinking ahead. What kind of game is it? A low-scoring game? And like you said, most of the time the Titans are thinking, we're going to win a low-scoring game. We're not going to win.
Field position means something.
Field position is good. So all of these go into whether you actually attempt a field goal or not. Some of it's happenstance, right? Some years it seems like you could be on a bad team. Like, I've had this in fantasy. Sometimes you're like, well, just take the kicker for the best high-scoring offense. Well, that high-scoring offense kicks a lot of extra points, but maybe not as many field goals. And then there could be a bad team where they just attempt a heck of a lot of field goals. They're not good in the red zone, and that ends up being a good fantasy kicker. So here's the situation. First drive of the game at Arrowhead. Malik Willis at quarterback. You're playing the Chiefs. It is 4th and 5 from the 39. The choices are 56-yard field goal with Bullock or punt it or go for it. They did not kick the field goal.
From the 39?
Yeah. They did not. They chose not to try the 56-yarder. I mean, but that's one of those where it's like, is there a right or wrong answer? It's like 50-50 either way. Right? Now, if you had Justin Tucker,
it's different. You're throwing him out
but
there.
you're also playing Patrick Mahomes. Are you going to beat the Chiefs? This is the beginning of the game. Do you feel like you're going to beat the Chiefs 9-6? Probably not.
No.
That was a surprisingly low-scoring game that they almost pulled out. It was almost a miracle. But you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not all they didn't have faith in the kicker. I don't think that it's too simple to say the reason that they moved on from Bullock is they didn't trust Bullock. He did a pretty good job last year relative to all the other kickers in the league.
Why is that too simple to say?
Because he only missed 3 kicks the whole year. He did not kick poorly last year. He missed one gigantic kick, no pun intended, in the first game against the Giants. They also screwed up at the end of the game. They could have made that field goal about 4 or 5 yards less, but they mismanaged the clock in the last 2 or 3 plays. And they made the kick from 47 or whatever it was instead of 42 or 43, which gives you a little higher percentage of making it.
But still, a 47-yard field goal is one that an NFL kicker needs to make.
But every kicker misses field goals.
Yes.
Every kicker misses field goals. Like Robbie Gould last year, he missed some field goals. Let's see. He was 27 for 32, 84%.
And I think that
Randy Bullock was 17 for 20,
but
85%.
I think what we got to understand this, and quickly before we go to break, is that most of these kickers, if you've kicked more than 25, 30 field goals there season, the average was right around a high 80, somewhere around there. Even Justin Tuck, as good as he is, he was only 86%. But we think of Justin Tuck as Justin Tuck's damn near
Right.
gold
And
money,
it's the
but
distance.
it's the
Yeah.
distance that
It
sort
is.
of messed him up because they sent him out there kicking 67-yard
He
field
can kick
goals.
60 plus.
Exactly.
Most
so,
of his misses are out that.
And
but
that's where the value comes from. Just as much as you can hit it every single time, it's also, can you hit from 50 plus?
Yes, but on average,
And
what you
Randy
gotta-
Bullock couldn't.
yeah, but on average, these kickers are kicking right around a high 80s on average. So if Bullock finished the season, 85, somewhere around there, he's basically right where
League
the
average.
kickers are. Yeah,
He's
where
league
the
average.
kickers are.
And a lot of the better kickers who over the long haul are great kickers were below average last year, like Boswell, like Robbie Gold. Gold was about average. I'll have to look, but Mason Crosby, I think, was below average. Some of it, like you said, Caroline, is are they daring to take the high? Sometimes it's just at the end of the half. You got nothing to lose. You'll just try one from 56, 57. That goes against the kicker sometimes. But all I'm saying is I think it's way too simple to say, well, they didn't trust Bullock. He was 1 for 2 from 50 plus. So it's not like he missed 5 from 50 plus.
And that's another problem is they're not attempting 50 plus yard field goals because they don't trust him from 50 plus.
Or they didn't get down there in scoring territory as often as a lot of other offenses. True. They
It was not
didn't
very
have a good
offense.
offense.
No, I'm not arguing that in the
and
slightest.
Teams go for it on 4th and 2, 4th and 3 more often than they used to. So that could have been the case last year. The score of the game, if you're down by
I
down
don't
by
know
7.
every fourth down they decided to or not.
And because
go
we
for.
don't know, I don't know, you don't know.
We
that
can look
you
back
can't,
at it.
But you can't just deduce that they didn't trust Randy Bullock. It's more the salary cap. It's the salary cap.
I think that they would have paid a kicker if they trusted that kicker. With the amount of times that this team has brought in and released kickers, I would hope that they would at least be willing to kicker that they trust to pay a kicker that they trusted.
In week 2,
I just don't think that they trust him. He missed big kicks and he didn't have range.
So let's see who the kicker is in week 2.
And if it's Randy Bullock, I will.
I don't
tip
know
my
if it's
hat
going to
to
be
you,
Bullock.
Willy. 615.
It's going to be a veteran though. I'll bet you.
Maybe so. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get your thoughts on this coming up next. Ask D-Mase in just over 10 minutes. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Every day we are live and local.
You need to give Ron Tannehill a 2-year extension.
There haven't been too many coaching changes for the Predators.
And your source for Nashville sports.
I think that's what the Titans need.
Players who can score.
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline Fenton here for our friends over at Superbook Sports. Football season is right around the corner, and now is the time to place your preseason bets with Superbook in Tennessee. Superbook is the most trusted name in Vegas, and now you can use promo code Caroline, my name, Caroline, to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they will match your first bet up to $250 with promo code Caroline. Will Tennessee win the division this year? Who is your pick for MVP? And which team will win it all in February? Don't sit on the sidelines. Win money this season with Superbook Sports. Simply download the Superbook Tennessee app or visit superbook.com to place your wager today. Football, a $250 first bet bonus, and the Caroline promo code will make you do your own touchdown dance this season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
There are ordinary hotels, and there's the Four Seasons. There are ordinary cars, and there's the Rolls-Royce. There are ordinary handbags, and there's Gucci. There are ordinary engagement rings, and there's Genesis. A Genesis diamond ring is unlike any other. Artistic, innovative design, handcrafted precision, exceptional detail and quality. This is why people who work at other jewelers come to Genesis for their rings. A Genesis ring is considered the gold standard in bridal, with no compromises, no cut corners, nothing short of perfection. We have the look, the style every woman dreams about. At Genesis, you'll find dozens of exclusive world-class bridal designers who are revered for their attention to detail, exceptional vision, and superior craftsmanship. A Genesis ring rises to the occasion, reflecting her style, her unique personality, her confidence, her individuality. In a world filled with ordinary, for this moment, choose extraordinary. Choose Genesis. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs.
So, if there's brunch, why isn't there dinner?
Or dunch, for that matter.
No, we know why there's no dunch.
Why is that?
People might get confused and miss brunch.
And I never want to miss a brunch this good.
Me either. Cheers.
Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Breakfast buffet Monday through Thursday from 7 till 10:30 a.m. and lunch from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Weekend brunch Friday through Sunday from 7 a.m. till 2 p.m. featuring cast iron pancakes, made to order waffles, and eggs and carafes of mimosas. Treat yourself today to Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up AutoSave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
AutoSave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Want to weigh in on the conversation?
It's a brain booster.
Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Having some fun in the midday.
Okay, that's really fun.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
It's a good source of energy because it's live.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Hey, tune in for Nashville Sounds Baseball today at 6:05 p.m. on 94.9 The Fan. The Sounds take on the Gwinnett Stripers, AAA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. Sounds Baseball on 94.9 The Fan, presented by 312 Pizza Company, Farm Bureau Health Plans, and Family Leisure. Right now, the kicking position. Titans bring in Michael Badgley, and it's just been the carousel continues to go round and round. And we were talking at the break, and Willy said, that I expect the kicker to be perfect, and that's not the case.
I'm not saying just you. I think the standard for the kickers has gone way up. People almost expect – you're surprised when a guy misses. Whereas when D-Mase entered the league, I just picked a year at random, 1997, it was only 78% that kickers hit. Go back to 1987, 70%.
That's a
1977, 58%. My point is we've gone from over time a kicker like, okay, maybe he'll make it. We got a chance to get 3 to we expect that if you are inside of 50 yards, you should make it. And
that's just the league. That's just where we're at in the league.
But they're still going to miss a few, is my point. You're not going to be 100%. The league average last year was 85%. The league average, that's its average. Okay, and so some of it depends on how often they ask you to make the 55-yarder or, just try a prayer at the very end of a half or end of a game. That's going to affect that. But my point is the kickers get better every year collectively. They get better.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be perfect. They're never going to be perfect.
And I don't need him to be perfect. I wouldn't expect perfection. And it's not just the percentage for me for Randy Bullock. Because you're right, he missed 3 field goals this past year, 1 from 50-plus and 2 between 40 and 49. It's not necessarily the percentage. It's the range for me. It's the fact that from 40 to 49, if you're an NFL kicker, you need to be making those kicks. If you're between 50, 52, 54, 55, you need to be relied upon to at least send the kicker out there, to have enough trust in your kicker that they can keep you in that game and that they can make that kick.
Okay.
I don't believe the Titans had that trust in Randy Bullock to hit consistently within that 40 to 49 range that you need to be consistent from as an NFL kicker.
Okay, let's go through the kickers last year from 40 to 49 yards. Justin Tucker, 4 for 5. So he missed one, which is you're surprised, right? He missed one?
He missed a 67-yard field goal.
No, he missed one from 40 to 49.
He missed one from 40 to
49.
Yeah,
these are the kickers from 40.
It must have been a hurricane.
Well, this is going to right, but that's my thing. We expect perfection from 40 to 49, right? You just said it.
I don't expect perfection.
Yes, you do. You just said it. From 40 to 49, you expect it. Here are the kickers.
You should be consistent. As an NFL kicker, I should be able to rely on you to hit kicks from 40 to 49. I don't think that's asking very much.
Is Justin Tucker reliable?
Yes,
he
absolutely.
He missed one last year.
And that's fine because Justin Tucker can hit from 60.
Okay.
No other kicker in the league can do that. He's special.
Nick Folk kicked for New England. Bill Belichick. I think he expects a high level. 10 for 14 from 40 to 49.
He still got a job?
I don't know. Riley Patterson, 10 for 13, Jacksonville. Robbie Gould, looking for a job right now, 7 for 11 from 40 to 49. Cade York, 6 for 8. Jason Sanders, 12 for 13. Graham Gano, 10 for 11. Tyler Bass, Bills, 10 for 11. Will Lutz, New Orleans, 4 for 8. Kamari Fairbairn, 9 for 10. So they're all going to miss one or two. That's my point.
And I'm not arguing that.
Collectively, you should hit about 85% for the season, or you are below average.
Mm-hmm.
And you should probably hit from 40 to 49. You should probably hit well over 80%, but you're going to miss one or two here and there. That's my point with – and when the game's on the line, does the team have confidence you're going to make that? And Bullock missed one, which didn't help him. But again, my theory is –
he missed a big kick against the Chargers as well.
Sure. So you'd name 2 of his 3 misses for the whole season. Did not miss an extra point. He went 17 for 20.
Well,
I keep coming back to
an
this.
Extra point. You're an
but
NFL
it's the
kicker.
salary.
That's your job.
Okay, let's go through the extra points last year.
I mean,
Justin Tucker missed an extra point last year, 31 for 32.
But there are certain things that Justin Tucker can do that I can give more grace for, because there are things that Justin Tucker can do that no kicker in the league can do.
Greg Joseph, who
like
still
Patrick
has a job,
Mahomes is
went
gonna throw
40 for
interceptions.
46 for extra points.
Okay,
he missed 6.
I think
he's still the kicker.
I think we're just looking at numbers now, and if we're just looking at numbers, we can have this argument going back and forth. Well, no, he's again, whatever. We don't know the circumstances of the kicks. We don't know whether it was weather, whether it was not, whether it was a hold that was misplaced.
Right.
I remember. I
Even
think
blocked.
I think I believe the Justin Tuck kick. It may have been a mishandled.
Very
snap.
well could have been.
I think, to my recollection, but when you have these kickers, to me, y'all know how I feel about kickers. Like, everybody has a job. Everybody has a job. If I run a slant or a hitch route, let's just say that hitch route, because, in between that 30 and 39 yards, I can't kick a field goal. I'm not going to even try to kick a field goal. But a kicker can't catch a hitch pass either.
It's your job.
It's my job. So if you throw me 10 hitches and the guy's backed off, you expect me to catch all 10 of them, right? No matter what. You should be able to catch a hitch 10 times out of 10. And majority of the time, 99.9999% of the time, that's what I'm going to do. There may be a chance that I drop one, very seldom, but it happens. With the kicker, between that 30 and 39, I expect that to be a hitch to you. That's a layup. In between 40 and 45, that's a slant. You should catch it. You should kick it. You should make it. If it's wide open there, nobody's covering you, the defensive back off, the quarterback throws the ball, it's a good ball, you should kick it. You should catch it. That's how I feel about a kicker. In between, I can't make it. I probably couldn't even make a 10-yard kick. I can't make it, but that is your job. Your only job is to make kicks in this league. So to me, you damn right I'm expecting you to be perfect at a certain distance. In between that 30 and 50 yards, you need to be damn near perfect, unless there's weather and other circumstances that you can't avoid. I can see if there were a lot of wind, if it was raining, something like that, you can't avoid that as a kicker. But if it's a good day or just a cold day with
as
no
the
wind,
Giants' day was,
I expect you to make it. You need to make it. Why? Because we're busting our ass to get you in a position to kick a field goal. Damn it, kick it. That's how I feel. I can't do it, just like you can't catch the passes that I catch. So I can say, listen, all of us work hard on this team. We all have a job to do. Do your damn job. That's all I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you to tackle anybody. I'm not asking you to throw a pass. I'm not asking you to do this or do that. I'm asking you to do the one thing that you are really good at, and that's kicking. And if you can't make it from a certain distance, I'm not asking you to consistently make 53, 54, 55-yard kicks. Not many guys can get that. But if you're sort of, if I ask you to kick 10, 55-yarders, I hope you can at least make 4 of them, because those 4 might get us to a place we want to be at the end of the year. But if I'm asking you to kick 30, 39, 40, 49, and the weather's pretty ideal, then I expect you to make all of them. What's so hard about that? I don't understand. Again, we can throw numbers at one another, but we don't know obviously the circumstance which they missed the kick. But then again, I, as a player, I expect you, and you expect
the coaches do. The coaches
you
do.
Expect to make
the fans do. The kickers do. But they do. They are human. Is all my point is. And so you go down the list. They all missed. I shouldn't say they all. There are seasons where the guy is perfect from 40 to 49. But there are very good kickers that miss one here or there. Bullock had, I would say, a solid average, if not spectacular, season. A good season. He got the job done. It's either if you go through the years, Chris Boswell, like I mentioned for Pittsburgh, been their kicker forever. He went 5 for 10 from 40 to 49 last year. He went into a slump.
Yeah,
it
does happen. So you can't be perfect here. And there's Boswell right now. He's NFL Network. They're showing the Steelers. He just made a field goal, so he's still going to be their kicker. So we're holding them to a very high standard. Getting back to my point of this whole thing, Bullock isn't there not because he didn't do the job last year. It's because he was more expensive than they chose to pay, and they're gambling that either they could find a new kicker cheap, which that failed. So now they have Badgley, who has the mantle for now. And then after week 1, they're banking on there being a pool of 3 or 4 guys that you can go get that you don't have to guarantee their salary. That's my theory of what's going to happen.
And I just disagree with the theory.
So you think they should have kept Bullock?
No.
Okay, so who should be the kicker then?
I'm not a kicking expert. I don't know who should be the kicker.
Well, I've given you all the information, so you got to give me something. If it's not Bullock and it's not Badgley,
I disagree
who is it?
With
Mason Crosby, Ryan Suckup.
I disagree with the argument that the reason that Randy Bullock is not here is because of the salary cap. I don't believe that the Titans trusted Randy Bullock enough to bring him
So they did the
back.
right thing of moving him out.
Yes.
So there were a lot of guys that were like Randy Bullock. They were out there. So who should they have brought in?
I don't know. I mean, there's going to be a lot of kickers that are available after training camp. I'm sure they'll bring some of those guys in. I mean, a Mason Crosby or Ryan Suckup, sure, bring them in. See if they're going to be able to be at least a little bit more reliable and a little bit more trustworthy. That's all I'm saying is bring in a guy that you can trust that can hit from the the distances that you need to hit them from. And whether that's Nick Frazier, whether that's Ryan Suckup, whoever it might be. That's all I'm saying that the Titans should do. I just don't think that they trusted Randy Bullock enough for what they needed him to do. But let's get into Ask D-Mase coming up next, 615-737-1025. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 1025, 1063 The Game.
It's a long summer. But don't worry. Hockey will be back soon. You'll hear every slap shot, save, hit, and of course,
Knocked down in front, rebound, and the score!
On your home for Smashville, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Is it October yet?
D-Mason here for Zen Sports, the new sports betting app in Tennessee, revolutionizing sports betting rewards. What if I told you that you're wasting your time and money betting on sports books? That's not Zen Sports. Zen Sports offers real cash rewards for those lucky enough to be in Tennessee. And that means no funny money, points, or credits. For a welcome bonus, earn 5% cash back on every bet you place for your first 15 days with the code D-Mase. Unlimited 5% cash back on your bets with the code D-Mase. That's D-M-A-S-O-N. And earn up to 3% cash back on your bets after that with the Zen Sports loyalty program. So make the switch today and start betting on Zen Sports. Your wallet and or purse will thank you later. Gambling problems, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 years or older to bet in Tennessee. Zen Sports, betting just got better.
Hey home buyers, TJ Anderson here. Are you looking for a luxury home on over an acre, 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, and close to 7,000 square feet? 6551 Brownlee Drive in Nashville's Westmead neighborhood offers that and a 4th car garage, all by an award-winning builder. Text the number 1 to 615-420-2377 for pricing and info. Want your home on the radio? Google TJ Anderson Homes and see why we are referred by clients so often. TJ Anderson Homes at Benchmark Realty, office number 615-432-2919.
Calling all Nashville Sounds baseball fans. You know the 312 Pizza Company in Germantown is the best place to be before or after a Sounds game, but this season, it gets even better. Stop by 312 Pizza Company before or after any Nashville Sounds home game with your day of ticket and get a free old-style beer. That's right, you get a free old-style beer from 312 Pizza just for watching Sounds baseball. Only redeemable with purchase. See you at 312 Pizza Company all baseball season long. 312 Pizza Company, a proud sponsor of your Nashville Sounds.
The Nashville Sheriff wants to pay you $55,700 a year. Now hiring correctional officers. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or a GED. Come, join our family and earn $55,700 after paid training and probation. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
We're rolling out store-wide savings this Labor Day at the Home Depot. Like up to $15 off Scott's Winter Guard Turf Builder. Because long weekends are all about getting outside, putting down roots for the fall, and feeding a lawn you can enjoy all year round. Shop Labor Day savings at the Home Depot and get up to $15 off Scott's Winter Guard Turf Builder. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Nashville Sounds baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike three.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, this is Philip Forsberg. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
D-Mase. He played 15 years in the NFL.
Quick throw. Touchdown, Derek Mason.
He had over 12,000 receiving yards.
Midfield, and there he goes. 80 yards for the touchdown.
And now you can ask him anything. Have a question about football or life? Now's your time to ask D-Mase.
We'll welcome you in.
Now on Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase. On 102.5 and 106.3, The Game and The Game Nashville app.
Ask D-Mase. Get those questions in for D-Mase. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Taking your calls and your texts. Anything that you want to bring up to our very own Derek Mason. Eric is on the line with a question for D-Mase. What's up, Eric?
Hey, guys, and I've also got a dad joke, and I'm going to give you a warning in advance. This joke might be a groaner, so so I'll just let you know in advance. Okay, for you, D-Mase. How did the computer hacker elude police?
Man, how did a computer hacker elude police? I have no idea.
He ran somewhere.
I get it. Where, ransomware, software.
Yeah.
Got it?
Okay. What that was talked about, and you were talking a few minutes ago. I heard you talk about the kicker and everything like that, and I agree we should have a reliable kicker. But one of the things that kind of bothered me was the last year's first game opener against the Giants. A lot of people are upset with the kicker that he missed the kick against the Giants, and I agree he should have made it. But to me, I think we didn't look at the bigger picture. But my point was, you never should have came to the point where you had to have a last-second kick. They blew a 13-0 lead, and to me, when you're up 13-0 or up big in games like that, you should put teams away. We couldn't get like the next score that was needed to kind of put the game on ice to do what things needed to be done, and just let them hang around. Where it came down to that, and while I'll agree, you definitely need a reliable kicker to make kicks like that, stuff like that. But I just look at it from another perspective, where a lot of times you're up by like double-digit scores and stuff like that, and I just feel like in those types of situations, it shouldn't come down to where you're having the last-second kick to win the game. Just want to get your thoughts on that. Guys, y'all take care. We'll talk to you again soon. You have a great weekend.
Yeah, thanks for your call, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. I mean, Eric's right. Looking at the big picture, they were up 13. Was it 13-0? Somewhere around there. They were up.
Giants game?
Yeah, Giants game. They were up. Second half came.
It was a great first half.
Yeah. Second half came, and they just didn't play. And, yes, it shouldn't be, up to the kicker, in a situation like that. But, be as it may, you had an opportunity to kick a field goal and make it. and win the game potentially for the Titans, and you didn't. I know that the offense sputtered in the second half, and the defense gave up some big plays. I get all of that. But at the end of the day, you have a job to do as a kicker. And that job is to go out there and save our bacon every once in a while, or the job is to go out there and make those kicks that are makeable. Again, in between that 30 and 50 yards, those are highly makeable kicks. Now, you start getting outside that 50, that's a little bit different, give or take. But I want you to hit more of them than not. But in between that 30 and that 49, 50 yards, you should make them. That's how I feel. I could be completely wrong on this, but that's just how I feel, because everybody's job is important, and everybody contributed in their own way. And the kicker, your contribution to this team is making field goals that we deem makeable, which are 30 to 50 makeable kicks.
And I would agree with the caller that Randy Bullock shouldn't have been in that position, that the Titans completely lost whatever mojo they had going into halftime. Like, I agree with that, but he was still in that position nonetheless.
Yeah. But in the NFL, a lot of games come down to the last few minutes. Right?
That's how it's designed.
It's designed for that, no question about it. In college, in theory, you could have a powerhouse team where a guy – your kicker really doesn't – he could go through the entire year, literally, without ever having to make a big kick. There are some teams from time to time that are that dominant. I can think of like some Steve Spurrier. I was like,
LSU
who is their
2
kicker?
years ago, was it 2-3 years ago?
Don't bring it up. It was last season, and it was disgusting.
No, I mean 2 years ago when they didn't need their kicker.
They
were scoring points with Burrow 3 years ago.
In 2019.
They didn't need him.
Who was the kicker for the 2019?
Cade York.
How many times did he have to make a big kick for them to
Never.
win?
We were pretty much up by 40 points every single game.
Just
but
say never.
not every game. There Auburn game, Ole Miss game, there were certain games that came down being very close.
Alabama game was sort of tight.
Yeah, Alabama game was
But they got way ahead in that game.
But do you remember the shoe game?
Oh, yeah.
The Florida LSU game?
Yeah.
Where the Florida player picked up an LSU player shoe that came off and he chucked it. It came down to like a 55. Maybe it wasn't 55. It was a far field goal in the fog to win that game, to be a 500 team, baby. Let's go, 2020 LSU team. But yeah, it comes down to that. When you're the kicker, it'll come down to those situations when sometimes, it's not always set up in the kicker's favor, but it's your job nonetheless.
Like, there are some NFL teams that are dominant enough. Like Harrison Butker had a bad year last year. He's a good, talented kicker, had a bad year. Chiefs still won the Super Bowl because the Chiefs are dominant. The Titans are not a dominant team, so in theory, they're going to ask more of their kicker than a dominant team.
But I would look at, like, the Bengals, for example. I would call them a fairly dominant team, but they had to rely on their kicker to get them to the Super Bowl in 2021.
Well, yeah, and he got on a great roll.
Yeah.
And there are kickers that 1 year, they make every kick. And then the next year, they miss a kick here and there.
Another texter texts in, D-Mase, pushing back against your argument about the kickers doing their job. One texter texted in and asked D-Mase, did you not drop some passes that came to you that you should have caught? According to your argument, you weren't doing your job.
Exactly, and they told me I wasn't doing my damn job. It's basically, and again, if I am tasked to catch footballs and I don't catch them, I'm not doing my job. I'm not one of these guys that, do something and then don't take responsibility for it. No, you're right. If I have dropped some balls, it was my damn job to catch those balls. And everybody on the sideline, you know what they're doing? They're putting their heads in their hands like, oh my goodness, Mace. You dropped, like, we expect you to catch that. The same with kickers. I don't let them off the hook. Your job is to kick field goals. 30 to 49 should be gimmies for y'all. This is your job. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. But it's your job. You're doing it. This is the life you chose. This is what you wanted to do. So make the damn field goals. That's all I care about.
It's your job.
It's your job.
More questions for D-Mase coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
1025 and 1063 The Game is live and local.
Now, let's meet the starting lineups.
Robbie and Rex Road 6 to 9.
Big time performance, best part of the team.
Chase McCabe 9 to 11.
An unrestricted free agent.
Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase 11 to 2.
Got the big contract.
The Velvet Touch.
Talking about Hall of Famers.
And Stillman and Company 2 to 6.
Kept going for it.
And don't forget, we're your home for all things Smashville.
He scored!
Nashville's best sports talk, 1025 and 1063 The Game.
Now through Labor Day, get fantastic deals at Electronic Express. Get a 65-inch TCL 4K Roku TV, only $349, or an HP Chromebook for just $249. Electronic Express has huge savings on computers, appliances, 4K TVs, mattresses, and more. Don't miss out on an Avanti laundry pair, just $379 each, or a Ring Video doorbell for only $69. Plus, get up to 5 years special financing throughout the entire store. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here, and you could snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time than now to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. I think the Green Bay Packers are going to be better than people think this year. That's the way I would go with it, but you take it any way you want to take it. All you got to do, visit FanDuel.com/Rob and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. You can see full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Real estate investors, get ready for an incredible opportunity. D&M Development is thrilled to announce the Phase 1 presale of 16 non-owner-occupied short-term rentals in Nashville's exclusive resort-style community, the New Cumberland. Nestled between Germantown and East Nashville, this exceptional location offers stunning views of the city and the Cumberland River. Each unit features spacious kitchens, 4 bedrooms, and 4 baths, providing the ultimate luxury experience for your guests. Resort-style pools and a wide range of amenities. Don't miss out on this exclusive investment chance. Visit thenewcumberland.com for more information and secure your spot in this extraordinary community.
This year, Boys and Girls Club of Middle Tennessee celebrates its 120th anniversary. Through time, BGCMT continues to evolve to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible leaders. Because of your continued support, BGCMT has remained strong and is committed to supporting our youth and solidifying our mission and culture in new exciting ways for 120 years. Visit bgcmt.org today.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
When it comes to Chase McCabe,
The Nashville Predators, the Titans, the NBA, college football, talk a little racing.
you get a little bit of everything.
But hey, you know what? We're getting it done.
Join Chase McCabe weekday mornings at 9 on 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Having some fun in the midday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Ask D-Mase. 1025 1063 The Game. Get those questions in for D-Mase. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. Wes in Hermitage is on the line with a question for D-Mase. What's up, Wes?
Happy Friday. Y'all know I have to call him with the dad joke. That's just part of it.
Give it to us.
D-Mase, man, and this one's bad. Why don't pirates take a bath before they walk the plane?
Why don't pirates what?
Why don't pirates take a bath before they walk the plane?
I don't know.
You want to look good, right, when you're on the plane?
Exactly. I don't know.
Oh, they're just gonna wash up on shore later. So yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Have that one for you.
I like that one. I did like that one.
But here, let me set the scene for my question here. It's last week of the schedule. Titans and Jags are playing. Winner takes it all, goes to the playoffs. If you lose that game, you don't get a wild card spot. I think that's how close it's going to be. And Titans end up losing that game. But let's just say the Titans also lose by 1 or 2 points to the Saints in week 1. This is exactly the same situation as we had last year, and the only thing that I keep hearing is, you don't want to sign a kicker before the start of the season because it's going to lock you in. At that point, I don't really care, because if it's going to come down to something like that, why are we not going to get Mason Crosby, Robbie Gould, Ryan Suckup, making a move? We passed on McManus, and that literally irritates me to know that he's playing for a division rival now. If we're in the same situation last year, or this year, as we were last year, where we missed last game of the season off of a field goal from week 1, how should we feel as Titans fans?
Okay,
Yeah,
let's.
it's your call, Wes.
This is again. There is no right answer, but let me just give you the backdrop before D-Mase asks the question. Brandon McManus last year, he's now with Jacksonville. Last year, 8 for 13 from 50. Of course, at Mile High Stadium, the ball carries.
Get a little help there.
He also missed 2 from 30 to 39 yards. So that's one of the reasons he's not back. So he didn't have a great year last year. Neither did the Broncos.
Again,
a lot of things went wrong for them.
A lot of things went wrong for them. So I'm just not going to blame him alone. Again, I look at it from this standpoint. You pay for what you get. If indeed you are, and teams do this, so it's not just a Titans thing. If you don't want to pay a kicker, a veteran kicker, guarantee this contract for the season, if you choose to go the route that you're going, then you should expect the same results you've been getting the last couple of years. This carousel with kickers. To me, if you believe that you are a good team, good enough to win this division, which the Titans do believe, don't you want to make sure that you have all your T's crossed and I's dotted, that you have, at least from the kicker standpoint, a guy, regardless of how much I got to pay him, I know I'm not paying him 10, 11, 12, 13 million, but I'm saying between $1 and $4 million. If I know I got to pay a guy between $1 and $4 million, and I know my situation over the course of the last 5 years, if he's going to make kicks, I'm going to bring him in and just pay him the money. I'm going to find the money from somewhere.
You can come up with $4 million.
Yeah, and not penny pinch. And I'm not saying that the Titans are penny pinching, but when you hear the arguments, it's like, well, they don't want to pay this guy because he's a veteran guy and they don't want to have to guarantee the contract, and they would rather have this young guy because they don't have to pay him this much, and yada, yada, yada. Well, basically, you're getting what you pay for. If you want a reliable kicker, a guy that has kicked in some big games, that have made big field goals, then sometimes you got to pay for that. And, hey, it may work, it may not work, but at least you're trying, because the stuff you've been doing lately hasn't worked, and you ain't paying nobody. You didn't cut 2 kickers already, and the season hadn't even got started. And you've given an indication that the next one, hey, this is your opportunity. You're a crack at it. We're going to bring somebody else. So don't get don't get used to that locker that you're in.
Don't get too comfortable.
Exactly, because we may change you if you miss a field goal. To me, get through all that, push all that stuff aside, pay the money for a guy that has been reliable in this league, whether it's Crosby, Bullock, anybody. They've been reliable in this league, and pay the guy and just roll with it. That's just me, and
that's how I feel. And I think that any good general manager and head coach in the NFL can get the best value out of their players. Like a really good GM can find a guy off of a practice squad, pay him league minimum, and that player can be a starting a caliber player for that team. Like that's what I think that sweet spot for GMs is how can I find the most value in my players? And sometimes you do have to find those players that you have to pay $1 or $2 million, but they're on your starting rotation. when you're in this position with the kickers and when you have the type of offense that the Titans have, that they're going to be in a lot of close games, sometimes you have to pay a premium for that.
Because that's it. To me, that's a specialized position.
So if you
The
find
kicker.
one, you
Yeah,
hold
you
on
gotta,
to them.
Yeah, you find one that's above or right at league average when you're talking, 49 to, anywhere from that 49 to 52, 53 yards. If you look at the league and he's right there at league average as far as making field goals, and then inside of that, he's damn near automatic. Now, there's going to be a miss here and there, but I expect you to make it. That's just how I am, because that's your job. But he damn near close to perfect. Then you sign him. You sign him and you go with it, and hopefully you don't have to be in that position where he's kicking 54, 55-yard field goals. Because if you're putting him in that position every week to kick a 54, 55-yard field goal, then you're not doing your job as an offense. So I wish they would just settle on one kicker. I know it's not that easy to do, but you keep playing these. And you know who else it affects? It affects the team in general.
Yeah.
Like the morale of the team. It's just like, man, here we go with another kicker. So I don't trust this kicker going out there. Instead of saying, and you and I discussed this off air, like every position seems to get an opportunity more than 1 year. And I get it. Whether you quarterback, obviously you got to give him a little bit more time. But every other position, they give you time to sort of develop into who you're going to be. It doesn't seem like, at least the last couple of years, they have done that with kickers here.
And I do think part of that is the nature of the position. And that's one thing that I don't know. I don't evaluate kickers for a living. I'm not a kicking expert. So I don't know if you can go and watch a guy kick and say he's got it or he doesn't. Like, I don't know if that's just something that you have or you don't. I don't know how quickly you can start to see that in a kicker. I'm not an evaluator, but that's what I would be interested to know. But I think kicking just has a shorter leash because you do so much less. The quarterback position is the hardest position in sports.
Yeah.
You need a few years to develop into that. But you look at maybe, first-round receivers, for example. Your first-round quarterback might start, might not. Your first-round receiver, he's playing.
Yeah.
Because there's not as much intricacies of that position as there might be at the quarterback position that might need more time to develop into it. It's the same thing with offensive line or whatever position. Some positions need more time than others because there are more layers, more intricacies. Kicking, on its surface, doesn't have nearly the number of layers or intricacies that other positions might have. You kick it, you make it, or you don't. And I know it's way more complex than that, but you've got a job. You got one job to do.
It's a specialized position. That's why everybody cannot do it. And again, the evaluation, it's, I don't know how much more you can sort of, how do you evaluate a kicker? It's like, do you make it? Do you miss it? Okay. If you're on the left hash, can you kick it from the left to the right and still, hit the uprights? Or if you're on the left hash, can you kick, at an angle? If we're deep, how do you kick? So if you're doing all of this stuff in your evaluation and you're making these kicks, and then you made some in games in college, what more am I evaluating? He has a strong leg. He's made it from both hash at distance. He's made it from distance. How much more do I need to evaluate if he's consistently making? Then I put him in an NFL game. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That doesn't mean you missed on your evaluation. It's just now you've gotten to the big leagues, and for whatever reason, it's changed. I don't know why, but it's changed. It doesn't seem like your mechanics have changed. Now, you got to constantly work on your mechanics, I'm sure, as a kicker, and you want to make sure you're doing the same routine all the time. That's why, head coaches, right before a kicker kicks it, they want to call a timeout. Not necessarily because they think the kicker's going to make or miss. They're just trying to break his rhythm, his approach that he takes every kick. They're trying to break that. And if they can break that, then they figure we can throw them off a little bit and make them think about the kick. But if your mechanics are there and you're doing the same thing constantly over and over again, and you may miss a few here and there, what do you do as a coach? There's not much you can do. Like,
Right.
I don't know what you can do as a coach.
And let's be fair to Randy Bullock, too. Over his 2 years as the kicker, he did make a lot of game-winning kicks. Overtime at Seattle, overtime at Indianapolis, last play of the game against the 49ers in the night game in 2021. So it's not like he never made the big kicks. He was, I would call, NFL average, maybe a little better than average, I would argue, for a team that won most of the close games until the huge skid at the end of last year. I think he's a good, solid NFL kicker that they had that, again, in my estimation, he was making a little too much money. They thought they could go cheap, and they might end up circling back to him. I'm still theorizing.
We'll get back into this, but coming up next, we'll chat with Kevin Ingram of the Vanderbilt Sports Network. Vanderbilt opens up the college football season tomorrow, hosting Hawaii. We'll get Kevin Ingram's thoughts on that coming up next. It's Caroline, Willy, D-Mase. Hey, your favorite game, Silly Underdog Picks, is back. Make your picks today at thegamenashville.com or the 1025 The Game app as Week 0 of college football kicks off this weekend. Silly Underdog Picks is presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket and Superbook Sports.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Vanderbilt Commodore fans, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, along with 94.9 The Fan, is your new home for broadcast of games and the Commodore Hour on Monday evenings. Catch all the action for football, men's and women's basketball, and baseball all season long. Go Doors!
Check, check. You might already know about the Acura MDX. V6 engine, seat 7. We have an announcement. We swapped that engine with a specially made 3-liter turbo V6, race-tuned the steering and suspension, and for the first time, added Type S performance to an SUV. So we're just gonna drop this right here. The Acura MDX and first ever MDX Type S. Acura, precision crafted performance.
Experience the thrill at Gary Force Acura, proud sponsor of the Nashville Predators. TennesseeAcura.com.
Now, your Game Center update.
This is Nick Frazier with your Game Center update. Tonight, the Tennessee Titans wrap up their preseason hosting the New England Patriots. Will Malik Willis start tonight? What about Ryan Tannehill? Here was Ryan Tannehill asked if he would play in the final preseason game.
Are you good if you don't get on the field during the game Friday night, considering the opener is 2 weeks away?
Yeah, I'm good either way. Excited and happy with how things have progressed for us as an offense over the course of spring and training camp. Guys are coming out and grinding away. Obviously, it's not 100% yet, but we're building each and every day and learning from something each and every day. And whatever Coach Rabel decides for Friday, I'll be good with.
Tune in tonight to 94.9 The Fan as the Nashville Sounds take the field in Game 4 of the 6-game series versus the Gwinnett Stripers, the AAA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Ross Chastain will be first to finish in the Ally 500 at Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 1025 and 1063.
Checkered flag is in the air. Man, this is a win in the cup race.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Covering your teams and the news of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
It was pleasant to listen to.
With Caroline Fenton, Willie Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
You are hands down my favorite radio personalities of all time.
On 1025 and 1063, The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
With no further ado,
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 1025, 1063, The Game, and the Game Nashville app. We're live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Game Studios, and we are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every single day. Our video streaming is brought to you by Superbook. Download their app today and use promo code The Game. And it has been a long, dark, cold, football-less summer, but that all ends tomorrow when the Vanderbilt Commodores take on Hawaii. They kick off the college football season in Week 0, and Kevin Ingram of the Vanderbilt Sports Network joins us now to break it all down. Kevin, appreciate you for joining us. It feels like, to me, there's so much excitement and so much buy-in into this Vanderbilt football team this season. Does it feel like that for you as well?
Yeah, for sure, Caroline. Thanks a lot for having me. And you're talking about being a long, cold stretch without football. I guarantee it's not going to be cold out there tomorrow night. But yeah, it does feel like there's a lot of buy-in going into season 3 with Coach Clark Lee. You've seen the depth improve for this program, and it's noticeable. You go out to practice, there's just a lot more players here than there was, say, 2 years ago when there felt like there's only about 60 guys out there. But yeah, I think this team's looking forward to playing against somebody else. They've gone through all the weeks of camp and scrimmages and all those things, and it's been a long time since the last game last November, so looking forward to getting started.
And one thing that I have heard from Clark Lee himself, people that cover the team that have been able to get there at practice, like Willy was out at practice yesterday, everything I've heard is that this offense is going to be so much more explosive than it was maybe in a couple of the years past. A.J. Swan coming into his second season. What can Vanderbilt fans expect from this offense this season, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think for this offense, A.J. Swan goes into the season as the starter at quarterback. He had a nice freshman year. He played in 9 games and was injured some, and we saw Mike Wright quite a bit as well. But he is the clear starter going into the second season of his career. I think a couple of things actually on this offense to really be excited about. For one thing, the offensive line. Everybody is back across that offensive front, and that's always good news. If you have that continuity on the offensive line, the quarterback's used to those guys and knows how they move and how they block. That's a big help. And I know in talking to AJ, he has a lot of confidence in those guys. But the receiver core too is probably as talented as any position group on this team. Starting with Will Shepard, who's now a senior, that's hard to believe, but he's going to get a lot of attention. They have some good speed. We saw guys like Quincy Skinner and Gamarian Carter take a step forward last year. Those guys are super fast. And seen some good young guys out of practice. London Humphreys and Junior Sherrill, a local guy, a couple local guys. And just kind of looking forward to seeing how those guys perform. Some reloading to do at running back, but some talent there as well. But I think everybody's probably as optimistic about this offense as they have been over the 3 years that Coach Lee has been here.
Now, Kevin, how are they going to, because I know there's still, it's a bunch of construction over there, on the stadium. How are they going to handle that for the fans?
Yeah, Derek, that's a great question. I appreciate you asking because we've had, staff meetings and things where they've explained a lot of this. And I did an interview with Martin Salamone, who's part of our staff, who really gives a detailed explanation on how it's all going to work. You can hear that on our podcast and also on the pregame show tomorrow. But just a quick reminder or two for fans. Look on your ticket, first of all, if you're coming to the game. It'll either say west stands or east stands, west side or east side. And that makes all the difference in where you can go in to get to your seat. If you're sitting on the west side of the stadium, go in the Frist Family Gate, and that's at the southwest corner of the stadium. If you're sitting on the east side, you're going to go in through Memorial Gym. And then the exits will be the same for the west side, a little bit different for the east side. But just keep those two things in mind. But check your tickets before you go. Give yourself plenty of time because it's way different if you haven't been over there since the last time Vanderbilt played a home game. There's construction on both the north and south ends of the stadium. And, we're still going to have Vandyville and all those things for fans. But it's just going to be a little bit different, and it's going to be a little more challenging
Are they expected to finish the renovation? Is it this season or in the off season?
Yeah, I think we all wish it could be this season. The north part of it, where they're building a new basketball facility that's going to double as a game day facility for football, that's going to be done probably next year. You can already see the framework going into place for that. It's going to be a couple levels for both men's and women's basketball, and then all the amenities for game day and event space and all that on the side facing the stadium. And then the south end zone project is going to be longer term. That's going to take a couple years. It's going to be a whole new facility for football and for game days and all of that. It's all going to be super nice once it's done. And a lot of this, you just have to bear with it and go through it for a little bit to get to the end result, which is going to be fabulous as part of the Vandy United program.
How much more improved will this defense, in your mind, be?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Derek. I mean, we talked about position groups that have improved and added depth. The defensive line, to me, feels like one of those position groups as well. And it was fun to hear Nate Clifton, who's a local guy here too. He's one of the team captains, one of the starting defensive tackles. Just talk about the group has come together and not just within their position groups, but getting to know everybody and kind of knowing what everybody's about a little more. But you have some talented players in that defense. I think it starts in large part with C.J. Taylor and DeRicky Wright. They play those hybrid spots, kind of those safety hybrid spots. And C.J. took a big step forward. A guy who was a really highly touted player out of Warren County from McMinnville. And DeRicky Wright, same thing. Both terrific athletes, and I think are going to be players to watch. You got the experience of Jalen Mahoney on the backside at safety, too. And then you got even though you have a lot of tackles to fill with Anthony Orji having moved on to the NFL, I feel like you got a pretty capable linebacker core too, and a couple more local guys, the Patterson brothers. You got the experience of Ethan Barr, so kind of looking forward to seeing how that group fits together. You're going to need improved performance out of the secondary, especially with all the passing offenses you see, and they'll be put to the test tomorrow night against Hawaii's run and shoot offense that they will bring in here.
Kevin Ingram is with us, and we are talking Vanderbilt football. Kevin, you mentioned a couple of guys who played high school locally, and of course it's Friday night. There'll be a lot of high school football people are going to see. It is kind of fun that there's some guys they're really excited about. It's some that we haven't seen play a game yet that we're going to see debut tomorrow. But they're grabbing a few of those guys. I think that's long-term an important element for Vanderbilt. And it's, it goes through the years, sometimes locally the program is looked at a certain way and you go further and further away and it starts to look better. But you do need to have that local buy-in, I think.
Yeah, and Willie, I think too, there's a lot of talent in this area. And even if you go beyond the guys who are like the 4 or 5 star guys that are going to Alabama or wherever, there's plenty of talented football players, and Vanderbilt's done well in getting quite a few of those guys. I mentioned the Patterson brothers. Kane started his career at Clemson. He played his first season for Vanderbilt last year, and he was just a really solid linebacker. A senior this year, had 39 tackles last season. 6.5 for loss, and his brother Langston played in 12 games last year, had 5 tackles, played some on special teams and that sort of thing. But I'm really excited about seeing those two. Langston, man, he's put on some hits in practice, and I think they've even had to dial him back a little bit at times. But that's a great problem to have. But I mentioned those receivers too, and there's some talented guys. London Humphreys that played at CPA, and you got Junior Sherrill from Lipscomb Academy. Both those guys have been impressive during camp, so it's going to be fun to see them perform and just see how they do.
I want you guys to take note. I told you about him yesterday, Derek. London Humphreys, watch out. I just keep that in mind. 83. You'll see him tomorrow. Kevin, before we let you go here, how'd you do on the grid this morning? I have not done the Immaculate Grid yet for baseball. Have you weighed in?
Yes, I played it this morning, and I was able to, for the second time in about a week, I was able to use, and again, to talk about the Immaculate Grid is like telling somebody about your fantasy football team or watching slides.
Right, nobody cares except you.
Right. Nobody really cares except you, but I was able to use the only player in the history of my high school to play in the big leagues, at least as far as I know. Paul Kilgus was one of the answers today, and he was earlier this week, too. He was on the square. I think there was a square for the Cubs and the Texas Rangers, and he pitched for both those teams.
Hal Gill on the hockey one was a possible answer 2 days in a row, and I think that will continue because he played for a lot of teams. But let me ask you one thing, Kevin, before we get out, about Hawaii. People probably watched the game last year. Vanderbilt won very easily. How much better is Hawaii this year than last year?
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of hard to say. They've implemented the run-and-shoot offense. It's so well-known with June Jones. And I hear run-and-shoot offense. I think about the Houston Oilers and, Warren Moon and those
June Jones.
We don't see the run-and-shoot enough these days.
Exactly.
Haywood Jeffries.
Right, exactly. All those names, and they'll probably even come to mind even more when they wear the Oilers throwbacks here in a few weeks. But Hawaii ran that offense for a lot of years, and they were like at the top of the list in FBS and passing, pretty much all those seasons. But they have 13 starters back. 4 on offense, 7 on defense, and Braden Shager is their starting quarterback. He played some against Vanderbilt last year, but I think they're kind of in the same boat as Vanderbilt was a couple of years ago, where you're just trying to build the talent and get your program back on some good footing. It's been a few years since they were in a bowl game. I think going back to 2019, and just trying to make that rise in the Mountain West Conference. One of the interesting things I saw in their game notes was how much they have to travel just to get their season in. For Vanderbilt, the Commodores are going to, including the trip to Las Vegas, 6,300 miles round trip for the whole season. Hawaii on this trip alone, it's 8,600 miles, and they're going to travel 37,000 miles in their 6 trips this year. But Timmy Chang's their coach, man. He was a great quarterback. We remember him playing there. But yeah, I think they're just trying to make the climb and build that talent and use some quality transfers they've been able to get and build their program.
Kevin Ingram, appreciate you for stopping by. We'll be watching tomorrow at Vanderbilt Stadium.
All right, appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. You too. And also of note, Vanderbilt is donating a portion of the ticket proceeds to the Hawaii Community Foundation's Maui Strong Fund. So they're giving back to the community of their opponent tomorrow. So I think that's really cool as well. We'll react to what Kevin Ingram had to say there, plus Willy's official temperature of where he is at for the Vanderbilt season, now that we're only one day away from the Commodores opening the 2023 season. We'll get into that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase. Hey, Nashville's best deal of the week is from Bavarian Beer House at Opry Mills. Bavarian Beer House, Nashville's only authentic German beer hall. It's a place full of fun, food, music, and most importantly, beer. So enjoy a traditional German bratwurst, schnitzel, giant pretzels, and more. Go to thegamenashville.com/deals now to get a $50 gift card for $25 to Bavarian Beer House while supplies last. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
All the big plays.
And we are done. Vandy 24-21.
All the big stories.
I'm sure Vandy will be a much better team if Clark Lee is the coach.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
What a stop by UC Sarah.
Then he wouldn't end up on my team.
Driving his way to victory lane.
I think that's the right strategy.
The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline Fenton here for our friends over at Superbook Sports. Football season is right around the corner, and now is the time to place your preseason bets with Superbook in Tennessee. Superbook is the most trusted name in Vegas, and now you can use promo code Caroline, my name, to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they'll match your first bet up to $250 with promo code Caroline. Will Tennessee win the division this year? Who is your pick for MVP, and which team will win it all in February? Don't sit on the sidelines. Win money this season with Superbook Sports. Simply download the Superbook Tennessee app or visit superbook.com to place your wager today. Football, a $250 first bet bonus, and the Caroline promo code will make you do your own touchdown dance this season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Being value conscious and getting the most for your money is so important these days, and that's why it's more important than ever to shop at Genesis Diamonds, the undisputed value leader.
Part of the education at Genesis Diamonds is we explain to you how we travel the world and purchase our diamonds, how we buy in bulk, we pay cash for our diamonds so we can save every possible percent to save you money on your diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds Vice President David Cooper.
There are no middlemen, there are no other wholesalers or dealers, so we cut out all of those extra added markups and pass those savings on to you.
When you combine that unmatched value with a totally no-pressure shopping experience, you know you're in the right place.
Because we do not work on commission, our sole purpose is to make sure you get exactly what you want. There's nothing in it for us personally, whether you spend $1,000 or $100,000.
That's why at Genesis, people often end up spending less than they had budgeted.
Our goal is to purely present you with options so you can choose exactly what you want.
The value you want, the experience you deserve. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
When the game goes into overtime, but the game goes into overtime. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
City Winery Nashville presents Paula Poundstone live in concert on Friday, August 25th at 7 p.m. Iconic comedian Paula Poundstone is known for her smart, observational humor and legendary spontaneous wit. Paula is the star of several HBO specials, including Cats, Cops and Stuff, and Paula Poundstone Goes to Harvard. Paula is a regular panelist on NPR's comedy news quiz, Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. She's heard weekly on her successful comedy podcast, Nobody Listens to Paula Poundstone. Don't miss Paula Poundstone and get your tickets at citywinery.com.
Do you have a VA loan? In this housing market, homeowners with VA loans have access to a ton of instant cash. Hey, Willie Donick here. Do you need cash to pay off credit cards and other high-interest loans? How does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound right now? Loan Pronto is helping veterans every day get the money they need with a quick and easy zero-cost cash-out refi with zero closing costs. With a VA loan, it's really cool because you can access up to 100% of your home's value. That's 100%. Use that money to pay off credit cards, home equity lines, car loan. Consolidate all your payments into one check per month and close in 2 weeks. Most homeowners who do this end up cutting their overall monthly payments by $800. And Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They're doing loans with super low APRs, and they love working with veterans. Call now. See what your options are. Call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Want to see our smiling faces? You can watch us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live. We are good to go. Presented by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I had the most interesting conversation yesterday with Pete Sampson, who covers Notre Dame for The Athletic. And he said they were genuinely upset about him leaving for this reason, that many people in South Bend have considered him to be a possible replacement for Brian Kelly. That's all I needed to know. I mean, I've heard good things about him from people, from friends in the industry. I don't know him, but that's an amazing compliment, and I think at least for now Vanderbilt has done very well. I think instead of just when we had this conversation weeks ago, just go out and grab the hot young coach. I think that's what they did. They checked a lot of boxes, which I'm not always crazy about, but in this case, I think it's good. I mean, if you can find someone that's connected. The thing I most like about him is that he understands not only the school, but the environment and the culture. This is not Derek Mason being brought from another world, saying all the right things, but never really having a clue and never really having the political acumen to make things happen. And that's why I think Clark Lee has at least a chance to enact change.
That was Paul Feinbaum, his perception of Clark Lee. That was over the summer. And I feel, at least, like there is a new breath of life breathed into this Vanderbilt program. I think there's a lot more excitement going into this season than maybe a couple, years of the recent past. And I think part of the reason is because of Clark Lee. That I just feel like if there's any guy to do it at Vanderbilt, it's going to be Clark Lee. So I'm excited about this Vanderbilt season. But Willie, you are a Vanderbilt faithful. How are you feeling going into this season?
I feel like he has made a lot of progress over a couple years. It is going to be interesting. You heard Kevin talk about it, and they actually are making jokes on it on campus. They call them construction complainers. Look, get used to it. All right, it's going to be a pretty weird sight if you haven't been over there. They dug up a ton of stuff. It was long overdue. People were clamoring for it for years. So now that they're doing it, don't double down and get on them for doing it. It's this could not be something that they could have just done over the summer. It was impossible. They're doing too many things. When it's all done, it is going to be, hopefully, a place on campus that fans and maybe even non-fans will enjoy coming to the venue. They're not getting a whole lot of just regular sports fans that just want to go over to Vanderbilt for a game. That's not a stadium that you get that, right? You got to want to go to that particular game. So down the road, I think Clark Lee has got a great vision of what he's going to be able to recruit to, and he's building the roster each year. I think he is getting the kind of response recruiting-wise that he's excited for. And I do think locally, Paul Feinbaum just used the term political acumen. I think it does mean a lot that he grew up in Nashville, played for Vanderbilt, understands the challenge, and has the buy-in and the trust of the people at the very, very top. Because otherwise they wouldn't be doing this kind of investment in the program. So all that to say, where are they this year? Hopefully, I believe they will be better than last year. But like I said yesterday, You could be better than you were last year
and not win as many games.
still have the same record, or maybe even win one less. It's possible that
success
could
is
happen.
not linear in this league.
Yeah.
But don't you think a lot of, some of what's happening, one is because of Clark Lee, but now there's a buy-in with those above Clark Lee.
No question.
Before, it just didn't seem like there was this complete buy-in. Like some people bought in, some people were like, they didn't. It was more academia. This is who we are. This is what we've always been. Sports is not even secondary. It's sort of down the line all the way. But it seems like now they have sort of, from a vertical standpoint, they have people that are like-minded when it comes to sports. Like sports is still it still should be a big thing on every campus, because I forget who I was listening to. Basically, sports is the front door to your university. That's what it is. It's the front portion of your university. And if you have a thriving, athletic department, it just doesn't have to be football, but football is number one.
The Johnny Manziel document.
Yeah, the Johnny
they said
Manziel,
that they
exactly.
had $750 million from Texas A&M donors after that successful football season, which was more than the rest of the SEC combined.
Exactly. So when you really start to realize that, and you see the numbers, then you start to understand that, well, they're right.
Mm-hmm.
We need to put the energy, if we are holding ourselves, which you should, to an academic standard like we are Vanderbilt, it shouldn't just stop at your academics. I don't understand that part. You can be a high academic university institution, but if you have athletics, shouldn't you still be thriving for that same thing in athletics as well?
Stanford,
yeah,
Northwestern.
Exactly. It's just I never understood why it was up here with your academics at Vandy, and I get that. I understand that. But then it was like sports was an afterthought in a sense. Don't you want to be great across the board?
That's where I think Chancellor Deermeyer has really put his money where his mouth is. And not only do you see the financial commitment now that is unprecedented, because for years there was a lot of people that said, yeah, we're committed, but they didn't really back it up as much. I think Chancellor Gordon Gee was a game changer. I think he helped them move in the right direction while he was there. David Williams came in with him. I think he tried to do whatever he could. I think he was limited with some of the successors to Gordon Gee. But Chancellor Deermeyer, I will say this for him. You see the shovels in the ground, the stuff that they're doing, and you will see him at the games. Not just the football games. He'll come to the banquets. He'll come to other sports. That means a lot. That means a lot. He's not the athletic director. He is the chancellor of the whole university. But he is a legit sports fan. Comes to the games. Didn't grow up in the States, right? He's he doesn't have a background, didn't grow up in Nashville or anything, but they've got the buy-in from him. So it's not just lip service. So I like that. And I think that meant a lot to Clark Lee. He could have waited. He was the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. Could have stayed there and seen what else was out there. But he believed he could do it, knowing how tough it is in Nashville, knowing how tough it is at Vanderbilt.
Right. And that is what Clark Lee has said several times over and over again. The goal is postseason play. And I was going over this yesterday. I think there's a path to that, to achieving that goal. I mean, if Vanderbilt, the first 4 games of the season, non-conference games, Hawaii should be a game that they should win. I think talent-wise. Talent-wise, Vanderbilt is a better team.
I was at the East Tennessee State game a couple years ago, so I'm not – but I'm hoping they've progressed a lot since then.
Win. Yeah. And then Alabama A&M, a game that they should win.
Yes.
On the road at Wake Forest, it's not going to be easy, but they lost their starting quarterback. So what does a Sam Hartman-less Wake Forest team look like?
Still good.
Still good.
They'll be a significant favorite in that game, Wake Forest.
And then on the road at UNLV, it's a long road trip, but that's still a game that Vanderbilt should win.
Need it.
So
Need that.
You're coming out of those first 4 games of the season 3-1.
Which is what they did last year in the non-conference. They were 3-1 in the non-conference last year.
Including a loss to Wake Forest.
Right.
If you lose to Wake Forest, I think Vandy's still alive. You look at the next 3 SEC games, I think Vanderbilt can win 2 of those 3. I really do. between
Bring
Kentucky,
it on, Carolina. I
Missouri,
like what you're
and Florida. On the road at Florida, that's not easy. The Swamp is never an easy place to play. I'm not high on Florida this season. I don't think that Florida makes the postseason. I think 5 wins may be the ceiling for Florida. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Vandy go back-to-back against Florida in back-to-back seasons. So I think Missouri and Florida are 2 gettable games for
What
Vanderbilt.
about Kentucky?
Now you're Kentucky. I'm high on Kentucky because I love their quarterback.
Okay.
Devin Leary transferred in from NC State. Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator, comes back. Ray Davis from Vanderbilt transfers to Kentucky. I'm so sorry, salt in the wound. He's a heck of a runner.
That's okay.
I think you come out of
You're
the
right.
first.
Get used to it. It happens now. We have to get over that. Like it
happens
really
to every
does
school
sting.
in the
It can't.
country.
You can't help the natural. Like, why would you go in the league? You're playing against the guys you were there sweating with for 2.
Yeah.
You want to play against them. You can't find anywhere else to go. But it's now becoming very common that it happens.
Commonplace.
First 7 games of the season, I could see 5 wins on Vanderbilt's schedule. And then you've got a gauntlet. You host Georgia on the road at Ole Miss. You host Auburn on the road at South Carolina, then on the road at Tennessee. Those aren't easy games to win.
I think it's fair to say that success in the first 2/3 of the season will be important because down the stretch, especially with they are not where they are going to be, in my opinion, in another couple years, depth-wise. I think in a couple years they will be as deep as that. They will have the kind of depth that successful Vanderbilt teams. Now, when I say successful Vanderbilt teams, you're new to Nashville. Your perspective is LSU, right? But relative to what I've seen of Vanderbilt teams over the years, teams I have seen just at the end of seasons just not be competitive. They're out of depth.
Yeah.
They don't have enough good SEC players for the natural amount of injuries that you get. I'm worried about that with who they're playing at the end of the season.
Yeah.
That concerns me
Fair
for this
concerns.
year. But I think in a couple years that will be better. But all that to say, I do think the first 2/3 of the season, that's
the
where
key.
you hope that they can make some hay to where there's not pressure to have to win, 2 of those last. What was it? The last 4
4 to 5
very,
games.
very difficult games.
Because you got
for sure.
Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia,
Yeah.
Ole Miss.
Where do we
Auburn.
see South Carolina? Where do you see South Carolina?
I see South
It's
Carolina
there.
being
It's at South Carolina.
the 4th best team in the SEC East, behind Georgia, Tennessee, and Kentucky.
So if you look at a Vanderbilt team on a particular year when they've been good, a bowl team, that's the kind of game that they need to be in at South Carolina.
Yeah.
They need to have a chance, right? They don't need to beat every one of those teams to win 6 games.
But how competitive are you? I think is
Right.
the key.
And that was last year. If they didn't really play well, they were not competitive, right? They gave up way too many points. I'm hoping they've closed that gap some this year, but like I said, it's going to be better next year and in 2 years as he continues to bring in better players because he was starting from scratch. He was starting from scratch.
It takes time. And sometimes, microwaving success isn't necessarily the best path to success. Hey, Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase is brought to you by Zen Sports. Start earning cash rewards on your bets today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee to bet. What do we need to see from the Titans tonight? We'll get into that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
New home. New energy. Same Blue Raiders.
99 yards! Touchdown, Middle Tennessee!
Catch every game for MTSU on 93.3 Classic Hits. Coach Rick Stockstill is poised to lead his team to yet another bowl appearance.
We're really excited about this opportunity.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
We buy any car.
Selling your car by yourself can lead to some strange encounters.
How many bodies does this car hold? Bodies? It's a 5-passenger car.
Right.
Passengers.
Don't deal with selling it yourself. Come to WeBuyAnyCar.com instead. It's easy. You get in, get out, and get paid at a fair price.
I sell mannequins. Oh, what'd you think? Nothing. Nothing at all.
Get your free online valuation now at
WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Are you or someone you know looking for a job change or a new career opportunity? Come out and interview with one or more of over 30 local employers ready to hire on the spot at Urban League's free workshop development hiring expo. Saturday, September 9th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Nashville State's White Bridge campus. This free event will include door prizes, food trucks, and much more. The future is yours. Join Urban League of Middle Tennessee on September 9th and take the next step to your exciting future. Call the Urban League office at 615-254-0525 for more information.
Hey, Tennessee, when you bet on Zen Sports, the new sportsbook in town, you get the best reward possible. Cold, hard cash. You bet with your own money, so why accept anything less from your rewards program? With Zen Sports, you earn cash on your bets, cash on your referrals bets, and a welcome bonus in, you guessed it, cash. So stop settling for Vegas rewards when we're in Tennessee. Cash in your old sportsbook for Zen Sports. Your wallet will thank you later. Zen Sports. Betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up and in Tennessee to bet.
Blue Raider fans, your home for all the MTSU football and men's basketball action is on 93.3 Classic Hits and 95.1 Classic Hits in the borough. Catch the action all season long with Chip Walters on the call. Go Blue Raiders!
312 Pizza Company is a proud sponsor of Nashville Sounds Baseball on 102.5 The Game.
94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Tonight, your Nashville Sounds continue their 6-game series at Gwinnett. Gloves, grabs, guns, get Sam, and the Sounds win again. Pre-game at 5:50.
Nashville Sounds Baseball on 94.9 The Fan and the Fan app.
Hey, Nashville, this is Laura Rutledge from the SEC Network, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You've seen a lot of snaps and reps from these guys in practice and the game over the last month or so. Like, how much more over the next 3 days could they do to move the needle?
I mean, certainly the game is important. We'll practice tomorrow. Game's important. You really start to see, the special teams is what we've talked about a lot with the games. You can only recreate so much out here. So the special teams and the ability to tackle some of those things that the game is critical. So I think you can see a lot.
That was Mike Vrabel at the podium earlier this week. These next couple of days, especially tonight. Tonight is the last opportunity for some of these fringe roster guys to solidify their spot on the final 53 once roster cut-down day comes around on Tuesday. So it all comes down to tonight, the Titans' third and final preseason game in Nissan Stadium, taking on the New England Patriots tonight. And the biggest news that came out today, reported by Jeremy Fowler, is that Will Levis is not expected to play tonight against the New England Patriots. And per Jim Wyatt's article on TennesseeTitans.com, he's got a hunch. He's got that two-tone blue hunch that we could see Ryan Tannehill tonight. So I'm excited to see Ryan Tannehill with the starting offensive line, what they look like in actual gameplay. And then on the other side of the ball, we're going to see a little bit of Harold Landry. I'm excited to see what Harold Landry looks like, getting reacclimated into actual gameplay, actually getting to hit somebody for real this time. So we'll get to see a good bit of the starters, a decent bit. I'm excited to see that.
Let's, because I know on Monday we're going to just devour everything that we see tonight, as we normally do, even if it's a little overreaction, which we all are prone to at this time.
Not me, just you guys.
But if Levis indeed does not play, which we don't think it's been reported, he's not playing.
I don't think he's playing.
He's not playing.
Are we a little worried about his big picture growth curve here? I mean, it's only a minor setback in the big picture, but missing these practices, it's almost like a little domino effect. Because of this, in theory, Malik Willis will go into the season as the backup, so he gets the first crack. What could happen from there? I don't know. I'm just worried. I'm sure the wheels have to be spinning in his inner circle's minds, right? You're trying to stay positive, but this is not the ideal pathway for him to ascend to the someday starter, right? Are we worried about this? Or is this just like, look, you just got to go with it?
I'm disappointed because what we have to understand is more than likely he's done. He's out tonight. He's not playing tonight, Will Levis. The question we then got to ask ourselves is, this is it. He gets no more game time playing. He doesn't get real playing time until next season. We hope nothing happens to Ryan Tannehill. But this was an opportunity for him to get in-game experience. And he got it in the first game. But after that, he's been injured. And it is disappointing, and it is a setback that you can't get in-game reps until next year. They're not going to put you in any games this year. You can't play in a preseason game tonight. When do you expect to get in if indeed, the only way you get in possibly is if Ryan Tannehill gets hurt. And then you still may not get in because he may go with Willis first. And if Willis does good, then you're not getting in, period. So you missed an opportunity, and I'm not blaming it on him, but I'm saying because of the injury, you've missed an opportunity to get in-game experience. That's valuable. Now you potentially will not get in-game experience until 2024. So, yeah, it is a setback. It's disappointing to him, I know.
It's incredibly disappointing. But I think the one encouraging thing to me is the nature of what we at least know of the injury. I mean, Levis was out at practice the other day. He was throwing around even the night of the Vikings game. He was out warming up. He was in pads. So he's at least mobile and healthy enough to still be out on the practice field, just not healthy enough to be in game, like actual game play. So that's the encouraging thing to me is if he can't play, he can at least practice and work on the things that he needs to work on behind the scenes. It's not like an ACL or any other kind of injury that's going to leave him pretty much immobile for several weeks, that he can still practice. But it is incredibly discouraging that he's missing out on what already were very limited reps. Now he's missing out on even more opportunity to, one, prove himself, and two, get acclimated to the game, to the speed of the game. Because as we mentioned earlier, in-game reps aren't something that you can recreate on the practice field. So it's disheartening that he won't get that opportunity. But the light at the end of the tunnel, the glass half full perspective for me is it's not a season-ending injury that's going to leave him sidelined for several weeks to where he can't do anything that he's going to have to work back from, at least from what we know of the nature of the injury.
I hope this ain't a reoccurring thing. I hope we're not going to be talking about this down the line about him getting these, soft tissue injuries, because that's essentially what we believe it is, a soft tissue injury.
We can go back to last year when we were hoping that after we watched Malik Willis play most of the time for the 3 games, that we wouldn't see him, and we kicked around a lot. Okay, what do they do behind the scenes to keep developing him? And obviously last year he had to do a whole lot more trial by fire than they planned for, but that was their choice, and we saw what happened. He struggled. So now the same thing will happen for Will Levis. Now, he didn't get anywhere near the reps in the preseason games. He was sharing reps with Malik Willis and Ryan Tannehill during the preseason, and now he's got to do it all on his own behind the scenes until we see him again. And who knows whether we'll see him this year at all. They kind of hope that they don't have to play either Willis or Levis, but next year, that's going to become a massive, massive question. Where is Levis on the curve?
Is it wrong that I'm not overly concerned? That I think
I'm surprised you're not overly concerned.
I'm more concerned about Treylon Burks than I am Will Levis.
In the
right
present,
now,
no question about
it.
No question.
Yeah, right. I'm
because
more
they're trying to
about
compete. They're not rebuilding. They think they can win.
And I guess part of it too is because I didn't expect to see a whole lot of Levis this season anyway. But we will be concerned when we need to be concerned. I can assure you that.
When the time comes.
When the time comes.
We will be.
We will be. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. It is time to take it to the bank, and we'll do that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. They fight.
Jared, you're how do you know, Joe? How do you know?
And fight.
And because of that,
but how do you know that, though? But how do you know that?
But that's okay. It's Jared and Joe. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m., Jared Stillman and Joe Rexroad debate the big topics in sports. Jared versus Joe. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors and Parman Tractor and Equipment on Stillman and Company. Wednesdays at 5 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Whatever your destination in life, you can get there easier with a checking account from F&M Bank. At F&M Bank, their checking accounts give you the tools you need to manage your money well, like the smart, free checking account that's actually free. Because banking shouldn't be hard, and sometimes the basics are more than enough. Making lives better by making banking easier. Go see them at one of their 20 locations across Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky, or online at myfmbank.com. F&M Bank, banking made easy on purpose. Member FDIC.
Trust your pets with Cottle Vet Clinic in East Nashville in the heart of Inglewood for compassionate care and your fur baby's optimal health. From vaccinations to health checkups with on-site pharmacy, teeth cleaning, grooming, and state-of-the-art surgical procedures, trust Cottle Vet, now offering boarding. Visit CottleVetClinic.com to learn more. We know you love your pet. And at Cottle Vet Clinic, pets are family.
Looking for a big diamond? Genesis Diamonds introduces our Elite Collection, all new for this year. These are large, rare diamonds in the top 1% of the world. 3 carat, 4 carat, 5 carat, up to 10 carat precious diamonds for the most discriminating buyers who appreciate quality. Genesis owners travel worldwide, tapping a vast network of diamond cutters, carefully hand-selecting each of these remarkable diamonds. We invite you to view this premium collection of GIA-certified diamonds, rounds, cushion cuts, emerald cuts, even fancy colored diamonds in size and quality never before seen here. And to showcase these exquisite stones, only Genesis has the finest handcrafted rings from all the world-class designers. If 2020 is the year you're upgrading her original diamond, or you just want to go big for the first time, no need to travel to New York or Los Angeles or Antwerp. Genesis Diamonds' elite collection of large, precious diamonds is here in Nashville. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Well, it is time.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter.
Okay, it is time to take it to the bank, and we will make our picks here in just a moment. But before we do that, we've got a great sponsor that has really been the ones that spurred on this great idea, and it's the folks at F&M Bank. You've heard me talking about them now for the last couple of months, but we're really excited to have John Peck, who is the president of F&M Bank, on with us today. F&M Bank is your true community bank. And John, we're so excited that you guys have come on board with us, and it's been fun for us to talk about them, but we want you to tell us a few things about F&M Bank. And start with this, because I know a lot of hockey fans listen to our show. The beautiful new arena in Clarksville that you guys have put your stamp on, I know that's a huge thing for you guys.
Well, good afternoon to you guys, and thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of the show today. I really enjoyed it. Yes, we are really excited about having F&M Bank Arena downtown Clarksville. It brings so much energy to our town, and I think as we get a couple of venues behind us, we'll see even more activity. So we're excited about that.
And you guys have partnered up with an F&M Bank Arena debit card. Tell us about that.
You know, it's a neat little thing. As a F&M Bank Arena debit card, if you're a customer of F&M Bank, we can make this available to you. And the F&M Bank Arena debit card, it makes available lots of discounts, not only to the F&M Bank Arena, but also to the attached Ford Eye Center. You'll unlock, a lot of exclusive perks and enjoy great discounts. So it's a win-win, not only for our customers, but for the arena.
John, before we let you go, a message you guys always stress is you guys want to be right in the center of a town. You want to be in the community. You want to be communicating with your customers. I know that's a thing that you stress from the top.
You know, that's a good point. And we're a community bank, and it's something we're not ashamed of. We're proud of that. And we feel an obligation to contribute to the communities in which we serve. So it's not only an obligation, but it's something we're honored to be a part of. And yes, it's across not only Tennessee, but now into Kentucky. We have, 20 locations along Kentucky and southern part of Kentucky and middle Tennessee. So, yes, it's important to us.
So the website to find your nearest location is myfmbank.com. John, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll talk again here very soon, and we're about to take it to the bank, so wish us luck in our predictions.
Well, thanks a lot. You'll do a great job.
All right. John Peck with F&M Bank. We're about to take it to the bank. It's F&M Bank, banking made easy on purpose, member FDIC.
Sometimes it's good to be loud.
This is the NFL.
Especially when you're Jared Stillman.
That's where we are.
He's not afraid to say what's on his mind each and every day.
That was embarrassing. I don't care if you're a rookie. That was embarrassing.
Stillman and Company. Weekdays at 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Having some fun in the midday.
Okay, that's really fun.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
It's a good source of energy because it's live.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Here comes the money.
And you can take that to the bank.
Here comes the money.
It is now time to take it to the bank with F&M Bank. Appreciate F&M Bank President John Peck for joining us. Customer community F&M Bank, banking made easy on purpose. At F&M Bank, their mission is to make lives better by making banking easier. So visit one of their 20 locations throughout Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky or online at myfmbank.com. Allow me to take a victory lap.
My goodness, it was unbelievable because you set the bar high and still took it to the bank.
So just for reference, my take it to the bank last week was that Tajay Spears was going to score a touchdown. And Chase kind of kept poking me. And I said, okay, fine. Tajay Spears will score the first touchdown of the game. I went to watch the Titans preseason game last week with some of my friends. And I was like, wait, so he, jets off. Tajay Spears gets the ball. He starts jetting off. And I said, no way. No freaking way. And I jump out of my seat. And all my friends were like, wow, Caroline's really into this game. And I'm like, I just won. I won my ticket to the bank. And I start, looking up Vegas flights, seeing that I should, go to the casino. So I hedged my bet, wagered a high wager, and it paid off. So I will give myself a pat on the back, hoping the luck carries into this week as well.
Okay, now Nick and I are going to commiserate just a little bit. I almost had the daily double. I went for a two-parter. I said that Lionel Messi will score in the big soccer game last week, but Nashville will get the victory. And in the PKs, when it was down to the penalty kicks, I'm like, come on, boys. Get me over the top, and I've got my ticket to the bank. It didn't quite happen. But the other way they could have won, after Messi scored, they tied it up. They had some great chances late, and that leads us into Nick's take it to the bank because he's eyeing a new acquisition.
Sam Surridge.
So
he
close.
had some chances.
It was
Man,
wide
he
open.
had some chances.
So
it was wide open.
It was there.
Come
on,
it's
Sam.
Couldn't do it.
That would have actually solidified their win.
They would have
potentially.
won.
Yeah,
They would have won. If he buried, he had one or two really good looks, and it didn't quite happen.
Is Nick leading our ticket to the bank?
I think Caroline might be in the lead.
Yeah,
We
I
need
think
to
I'm in
start
second.
taking
It's time.
Oh,
The
okay.
preseason
I have a
is over.
score sheet at my house on a notepad since I've taken over.
We need to
Okay,
start
let's
taking
do that
scores
next week.
now.
I'll bring
Yeah,
it in.
we'll
Now,
do a
are
grand
we going
tally.
to have a score up to this point, or are we
No, it was
wiping
a
the
clean
slate clean?
slate.
No,
Clean
no,
slate?
no.
No, nice
That's
try.
not how this
I vote
works.
for a clean slate.
Me too. I vote for a clean slate.
Caroline's just like, I had the greatest pick ever. We want to wipe that.
No,
That doesn't count.
Absolutely not. We're not going to vacate my wins.
That was preseason.
NCAA, Willie.
That was preseason.
No. I'm the Baltimore Ravens of Take It to the Bank preseason.
Yes.
Man.
Well, I tried, Willie. I tried.
You tried.
Man.
You tried. Yeah.
Pace went
Caroline
half
deserves
last
credit.
week.
Yeah.
He had the Braves to win 2 out of their 3 of their series, and then Acuna hit 2 home runs. Not 1, 2. Only had 1.
I didn't even know D-Mase made a pick. You made one from afar?
Did you?
No, that was 2 weeks ago. That wasn't last week.
Oh, okay. So you're going back to
weeks
the one
ago,
2
yeah,
weeks ago.
yeah.
I missed that one. I was
talking about
gone
Chase.
for that one.
I was talking about
Chase.
Chase. Yeah,
Oh,
last week.
Chase.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I made
Acuna.
mine
Okay.
2 weeks ago, not last week. So.
Oh yeah, when in Rome. So Chase was in the seat. He made a
he made
a pick.
So thank you, Chase. You got half.
All right, so
Appreciate
Caroline, since you did so well last week, what do you got in store? You going back to the well for the Titans something tonight? Or?
I'm switching it up.
Okay.
My dear sweet college football is back, finally. So I'm going to take it to Vanderbilt Stadium. A.J. Swan to Will Shepard. First touchdown of the game.
Ooh, okay.
Putting all my coins back in the middle. We're doubling down. A.J. Swan to Will Shepard.
Okay.
Okay. I
So
like that
Vanderbilt's first touchdown or the first touchdown. of the game.
Vanderbilt's first
Okay,
touchdown.
I think that's
Vanderbilt's
a fair.
first touchdown.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Will Shepard looking good, by the way. Knock on wood. He is a talented wide receiver.
Well, I'm going down that same road, sort of, because it's still with Will Shepard.
Ooh.
But I got 3 layers to this, okay?
Excuse me.
3 layers.
3 layers, not just 1, 2, but 3. I sound like LeBron here. He will have 6 catches or more, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Ooh.
Okay.
Will Shepard.
At least 6 catches, at least
100
100 yards,
Yep,
and
at least
2
2
touchdowns.
touchdowns. Yes.
Ooh, okay.
All right. I like it. I like it.
Yes.
All right.
You got that? Take it to the bank, baby.
It's in there. I got
All
you.
right. What you got, Willie?
I'm so hesitant to go.
Willie, do it.
I just don't want to
Do
talk
it.
Commodore. I just don't.
Do
I don't
it,
want to jinx
Willie.
them.
Do you need to hedge
Willie.
your happiness a little bit?
No,
Willie,
no.
do it. Do it, Willie.
I feel good about the game. Will a kick knock over a crane during the game? I'm just kidding. It's not
We
gonna
can talk
happen.
about that. Will a stray field goal
goodness.
hit a crane?
There's a lot of construction going on.
There's a lot of
I'm
cranes.
excited. I will be at the game. I will say this: they will have a 100-yard rusher in the game. They will have a 100-yard rusher in the game.
Vanderbilt
Vandy will?
or Hawaii?
Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Vanderbilt
Oh,
will.
okay. Vandy.
Okay. Any
They will have a 100-yard rusher.
dare to guess who?
Well, I don't want. I want to give myself a little bit of leeway to see who ends up emerging having the game because they have
That's
2 or
fair.
3
First
guys.
game of the season.
Is it Patrick Smith? Is that that's one that I like. See, I think Ray Davis, who transferred from Vanderbilt to Kentucky, was the guy that got the bulk of the load last year. This year, I think it is going to be a little bit more of a committee, but I think they like the fact that all 5 of their offensive linemen are back and that they have 2 or 3 guys that I think, given the opportunity, can still do the job. But that's what I think. We'll see who ends up having the big night tomorrow. Hopefully somebody will. They will have a 100-yard
one of those
rusher.
rushers will go for 100 yards. Okay, I like that.
I like it. All right, we're all in on the black.
So
and
you guys
gold.
are
Anchor down.
going to the air. I'm going to the ground.
What you got, Nick? What you doing?
Going with the broadcast crew. They're going to mention the construction over 5.5 times.
Over under 5.5.
There's no
I would
question.
hammer the over. Hammer the over.
Is that too low? Should I go higher?
That's up to
That's
you.
fine. That's your
up to
call.
you. That's your call.
6.5.
6.5.
Oh.
That's very fair. I'm thinking
Okay.
twice a quarter, and at least once at halftime.
Yeah. Look at all this construction. Look at it's gonna look nice when
They have a
Vandy
vision
finishes.
for the program.
Exactly.
Progress isn't pretty.
Clark Lee told us that Dr. Candace story, they're going to have all the storylines.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
And
that's
especially if the ball goes into the construction. Oh, the construction is going on. Football's over there.
It's going to be a tale of, construction and football, just as we all expected. That's going to do it for us today. My first Vandy game tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Stillman and Company is up next.
Be love and love on your people. Peace.